Ready? Good evening. It is 6:06 p.m. We are reconvening the regular Board of Education meeting of the Vallejo City Unified School District in open session. We will now proceed with the public meeting portion of the agenda. May I have roll call, please?
Trustee Fox.
Present.
Trustee Hodges.
Present.
Trustee Young.
Present.
Vice President Flores is absent. President Amboy.
Present.
Trustee Arbob.
Present.
Trustee De Leon.
Present.
And Trustee Valdez Jacobo is absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The board met in closed session on the items listed on the agenda. I will now provide the closed session report out. For item 3, a conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, one case number 202-601-0841. The governing board approved a settlement agreement with a motion by Fox and a second by Young, and 4-0 with trustee Flores' absence. For item 3B, public employee and performance evaluation, Government Code Section 54957, Title Superintendent Ruben Aurelio. The governing board completed the annual evaluation for Superintendent Aurelio. The superintendent received satisfactory evaluation for the 2026 cycle. The next item is the adoption of the board agenda. May I have a motion? Trustee Hodges? Oh, I'm Trustee Fox, sorry about that.
It's okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt our agenda.
I'm Trustee Young.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Fox and a second by Trustee Dr. Young. Roll call, please.
Trustee Fox.
Aye.
Trustee Hodges.
Aye.
Trustee Young.
Aye.
Vice President Flores is absent. President Amboy.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez Jacobo is absent. Trustee Arbob.
Aye.
And Trustee De Leon.
Aye.
And the motion passes 4-0 with one absent.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6.
Yes, so item 6 is we want to acknowledge a couple of donations. We had an acknowledgement and acceptance of a donation by the school district nutrition department from Daylight Foods. So we want to acknowledge them for that. Item 6B, we want to acknowledge and accept the $2,500 donation from Scotts Valley Band of Pomo Indians. They were present and supported the employee recognition event that was held at the end of the school year, and we thank them for their support. Item 6B is a resolution which we'd like to pull up. This resolution is going to be recognizing the service of the Vallejo City Unified School District 2025 to 2026 student trustees, which we have 2 in attendance. We will recognize Trustee Valdez Jacobo at the next meeting next week. She will be back with us, so we'll have to remember to recognize her there. But we do have this resolution. And do I have a board member who might want to read this one? A board member who wants to read this resolution about our students? I don't think it's fair to make the students read it about themselves. Thank you, Trustee Hodges.
Whereas the Vallejo City Unified School District hasn't had student board members representation since 1998. After 25 years, the opportunity was made available for students in 2023 with 1 student representative. In 2024, Superintendent Aurelio expanded the program to include 2 representatives. And 2025, 3 high school representatives from Vallejo, Jesse Bethel, and John Finney High Schools, and Whereas on August 6th, 2025, Vallejo City Unified School District Superintendent Aurelio administered the oath of office to Sonia Valdez Jacobo, student trustee, representative of Vallejo High School, Baraj Abab, student trustee, representative of Jesse Bethel High School, and Zanaya De Leon, student trustee, representative of John Finney High School. And whereas Sonia, Baraj, and Zanaya immediately began representing VCUSD when they were given the opportunity to collaborate with the City of Vallejo Youth Coordinator, who awarded the trustees the opportunity to attend the National League of Cities conferences in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Washington, D.C., and other collaborations and professional development opportunities with other student trustees at the California Board Association Annual Education Conference and Trade Show, with other student trustees. And whereas Sonia, Baraj, and Zanaya has made a tremendous impact at their school sites, Vallejo City Unified School District, and in the community by networking with other like-minded students in California and other states, VCUSD student trustees developed meaningful relationships with many students, administrators, and political leadership. Now, therefore, let it be resolved on this day, June 17th, 2026, trustee Sonia Valdez Jacobo, Vallejo High School, trustees Baraj Abrab, Jesse Bethel High School, and Zanaya De Leon, John Finney High School, has served and made a tremendous impact on the Vallejo City Unified School District Governing Board of Education for the 2025-2026 school year.
May I have a motion? Trustee Fox? Trustee Dr. Young?
A second?
We have a motion by trustee Fox and a second by trustee Dr. Young. Roll call, please.
Trustee Fox?
Aye.
Trustee Hodges?
Aye.
Trustee Young?
Aye.
Vice President Flores is absent. President Amboy?
No, you guys are not going anywhere. Aye.
Trustee Valdez Jacobo is absent. Trustee Baroj Arbab.
Aye.
And Trustee De Leon.
Aye.
And the motion passes 4-0 and 1 absent.
Scoot in a little bit. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Yep, got it. Thank you. I can't close it now. Wait, okay, I got it.
All right, we're down to forums. Okay, Okay, this, 7A. We will now hear from our interagency partners. If any would like to report.
No interagencies this evening.
Let's,
Okay. Good evening, Superintendent, President Amboy, trustees. Amy Parangan, President of Vallejo School Managers Association, here to give you the final update of the school year, which I can't believe is actually here. As we close another successful school year, our administrators have been balancing the important work of finishing the year, but also working to prep for a strong start of the next school year. While this year presented its share of challenges, our admin teams remain focused on our shared purpose, serving students, staff, and our community, and we are emerging stronger through this experience. Tomorrow, we will have our last DLT meeting where we will focus on this year's successes, challenges, and lessons learned so that we can start for a stronger school year ahead. As part of our continued commitment to investing in our leadership, we are sending a team of site administrators to the AXA Leadership Summit down south for a week. We are also very proud to share that VSMA was honored to award our first Portrait of a Graduate Scholarship, which was $1,500 to the following graduating seniors: Kimberly Calderon from Jesse Bethel High School, Travell Stanley from Vallejo High, Lanaya Dunn from John Finney High School, and AXA Region 4 also granted Journey French a scholarship. So on behalf of VSMA, we truly appreciate your support, your partnership, and your presence throughout the year. We wish you a restful summer. Thank you.
thank you. BA.
Good evening, Board, trustees, and Superintendent. Well, the theory is that we are on summer break. As I look around, hasn't been so much of a summer break for me. We've got a whole bunch of teachers in the classroom doing summer school. We've got a whole bunch of teachers who are staff. I shouldn't just say teachers, it's staff, who are packing their classrooms, getting everything together. We got CSCA folks who are working really hard to move all those boxes from one classroom to another. Hopefully the week before we come back, those teachers will be given access to the room. It's a whole lot different when you're moving a classroom and you come into the room and there's a whole bunch of boxes. That's a whole different animal than just 2 days to get ready for school. As those of you who are educators, you know, during summer break, we've got some teachers will take a week or two break, but they're studying and planning for next year. I know for me, 2 weeks into the summer break, and my wife will tell you, I already have my books out. I'm accessing the planning guides whenever they're available. I'm looking through my things. I'm emailing, texting my colleagues, my grade level colleagues. We're already planning way early. And yes, that's our time, but that's how much passion our staff collectively puts into our students. It's all for the students. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Do we have a representative of CSEA? No representative. Do we have a representative for VACE?
VACE.
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 We're just going to wait for all of us to get up here. Good evening, President Amboy, Vice President Flores in his absence, Trustee Young, Trustee Hodges, Trustee Fox, and Superintendent Aurelio. Thank you for your time tonight and for your recent approval of the Vallejo Association of Confidential Employees that we affectionately refer to as VACE or VACE. the agreement during the May 13th meeting. We appreciate your support and recognition of our group's contributions to the district. I am Rhonda Reason Thomas, the president of the Vallejo Association of Confidential Employees and executive assistant to Superintendent Aurelio. I am honored to stand before you tonight representing our dedicated executive administrative support team. We are the professionals working behind the scenes to keep our district moving forward, reporting directly to our superintendent and the assistant superintendents of human resources, business services operations, and educational services. Joining me tonight are my colleagues and fellow VACHE leaders. Sherry Sponsler is our vice president from human resources. Rochelle Dezarzant is our secretary working in the superintendent's office. Liz Molina is our treasurer from Business Services and Operations, and Janelle Brooks is our member at large from Educational Services. We are thrilled to be here, and as we look forward to the 26-27 school year, our commitment extends beyond supporting our executive team and district office staff. We are also focused on providing vital assistance to our school sites to ensure a successful year for all students and staff. And at this time, I'm going to invite our vice president to introduce herself and give us some highlights on what our year is going to be like. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Good evening. My name is Sherry Sponsler. I am currently the Confidential Administrative Assistant of Human Resources. I am proud to say I was born and raised in the city of Vallejo, and I'm a product of this school district. Go Spartans. It was an honor to be up here as I've been serving the district for 19 years and counting. In HR, our team works diligently to support the superintendent, assistant superintendents, and the entire district. We handle everything from onboarding new employees and preparing board agenda items to managing negotiations, payrolls, PRA requests, budgets, and confidential legal documentations. And most importantly, managing the day-to-day operations of our executive assistants. VASE is deeply committed to supporting our office manager and clerical teams. To keep everyone aligned, we host monthly meetings, organize an annual summer retreat, and have been looping them into principal meetings. I'm especially proud to share that we have formed a committee to create the first office manager handbook. This will be the 3rd year. Thank you for your time, and I will now introduce Liz Molina, the Administrative Assistant to Business Services.
Good evening, President Amboy, Vice President Flores, who is absent, trustees, and superintendent. My name is Liz Molina, and I am the Administrative Assistant Confidential of Business Services and Operation. I am proud to be a product of Vallejo City Unified School District. Having attended Vallejo schools myself, I have been a member of this community for 40 years. My children also attended Vallejo schools, making this district very special to me. I would like to take a moment to thank the Board of Education and district leadership for your continued support of our students, staff, and community. In the business services and operations, I support Dr. Fernandez, our department's effort to ensure the district runs efficiently and effectively. Our team is responsible for budget, planning, fiscal accountability, payroll, operational efficiency, risk management, PRAs, subpoenas, procurement, facilities, transportation, nutrition services, and compliance processes. Thank you for allowing me to share a little moment of what we do in our business services. At this time, I would like to pass the mic to Rochelle.
Good evening. My name is Rochelle Dezarzant. I'm the administrative assistant to the superintendent's office. I'm also the secretary for VASE. I was born and raised in Vallejo, and I'm a very proud Dan Mini Bear. And actually, Miss Liz, where are you? She used to be the secretary in Dan Mini when I was attending there, and it's a full circle moment to be able to work with her now. My mom also previously worked for the district. She was a custodian at what's formerly known as Solano Middle School. In my role, I help support the superintendent, the board of trustees, the student trustees, the superintendent student advisory committee, as well as the communications team. I am very proud to be working as a VCUSD employee. Thank you all for all your hard work. This was not an easy year. I'm looking forward to the next years to come. And I would like to introduce Janelle.
Good evening, student trustees, President Amboy, Superintendent Aurelio.
Speak into the mic.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I will project just for you. My name is Janelle Brooks. I am the confidential assistant not the superintendent.
Big girl.
Administrative assistant for the Educational Services Department that is overseen by Heather Tabasio. My family has been long-term residents of Vallejo. Although I'm from Michigan, I am the second generation of VCUSD. I had an aunt that retired as a nurse after 40 years here. It is an honor to highlight how educational services serves as a vital pillar of support for our school district. We aren't just teaching students, we are empowering them with the academic knowledge and vital life skills to truly thrive. From robust English learning services and K-12 academic guidance to comprehensive mental health initiatives, we meet the diverse needs of every family we serve. A perfect example is our impact in our latest project. We were able to transform the employee lounge into a vibrant wellness center that has been called Pause. This space directly supports the well-being of the staff that supports the sites that teach our children and the community members who partner with us. Educational Services is proud to elevate our entire district potential. Thank you for your continued support in making these transformations possible. On behalf of the Vallejo Association of Confidential Employees, VASE, we are excited to partner with you and champion your vision for your district, for our district's success. We truly appreciate your time tonight and are grateful for the opportunity to introduce ourselves to you.
Thank you for your time. We know we took a little bit more time, but thank you. We've been working on this through, I think, 3 superintendents for a few years, and superintendent pushed it. He's the one, he listened. So thank you, Superintendent Aurelio.
And thank you, and I do apologize for calling it, I'll never forget to call
Vasse.
it. It's Vasse. I should know better, right? All right, moving on to district advisory committees.
No reports this evening.
No reports. Okay, then to
Student
reports.
So you two are going to give your reports, and then we're going to be introducing our new student trustees. Okay. So show them how it's done.
Ready. All right. So there's a lot to go over, so I'll go over some of the big things that have been happening in Vallejo and just the district in general. So first off, for Jesse Bethel, we had the Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration on May 19th, 2026, and we had dances from our Filipino language students that were taught by Ms. Marte and in part by President Amboy. And it was a beautiful celebration of Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander culture, and it was a great celebration. We had a lot of people come out and a lot of the students come out. So that's that. I'd also like to recognize our teacher that helped run the celebration, who was also recognized by the Filipino American Law Enforcement Officers Association, San Francisco chapter, Miss Marte. So if we could give a couple of claps to our teacher, Miss Marte, for all the work she does for all her students. And I've not even had Miss Marte yet, and I know how wonderful of a person she is and a teacher. So, Miss Marte, thank you. We had the Pista Sanayon celebration, and it was, again, a wonderful event. There were a lot of dances, music, competitions, ice cream eating competition, which was pretty fun. We had dancers from Jesse Bethel, and there were also students from Vallejo High School and Jesse Bethel that were recognized for the years of Filipino language they took. And so it's a yearly event, so I encourage all of the community, if you get a chance, it's in June, it's every year in June, so if you can come out to the Mare Island Coal Sheds and have a fun time with the entire community. There's a lot of people that come out not only from Vallejo. We had the senior awards ceremony where our wonderful seniors were recognized, of course, for all their hard work both this year and throughout high school. We had a session for Future Leadership Solano on June 13th, Saturday, at the police department, where students learned not only about the police department, but the fire department and the work involved and the experience of those in those departments and the work they put in to take care of our community and our people in Vallejo. And now we'll get to probably the biggest thing that's happened this month, which is graduation. So I'll touch on Jesse Bethel's graduation. So on Friday, June 12th, we had the graduation for Jesse Bethel High School. We had a few student speakers. I'll name each of them just to give them props for all their work. So we had 2 valedictorians this year with a GPA that was above 4.5. So Marco Bude and Nathaniel Alcantara. So great work to them. Our salutatorian was Kyle Ortiz. The senior class president was Hina Barty, and student body president, the JSB president, was Natalie Flordeliza. And so congrats to our seniors and their families for such an amazing accomplishment and just all-around moment that was graduation. And I want to bring light to just the connection those seniors had with us, the students, and how important they were and always will be to us. So I like doing shout-outs, so I'll just name a few of them. So Chad, Irvin, AJ, Raleigh, just to name a few. What's so special about these seniors, and just seniors in general at Bethel every year, is they don't make you feel like you're in a different grade level than them. They always treat you with so much kindness and respect and compassion, and it's just always been the case with Jesse Bethel. So as long as I can remember, whether it's class of 24, class of 25, and this year class of 26, from class of 25 you have Danny, Kayla, they always treat us with so much kindness and respect. And a quote I thought of when I was writing this up actually was, instead of looking at Bethel, instead of it being, oh, we're freshmen, we're sophomores, we're juniors, we're seniors, we're Jags. We all look at each other as Jaguars. And that's something that I think is a model way for, maybe this is getting a bit too deep, but for the entire country, you know. We always look at things that can divide us, right? Whether it's our opinions, our beliefs, our cultures, our customs, but at the end of the day, we're all human. We all need to teach each other with basic compassion, respect, kindness that every human deserves. These are basic human rights. And that's something that I've seen. Maybe it's not at the same level, but just I've seen at Jesse Bethel, because we never looked at each other differently because of our grade levels, because of test scores or whatnot. We all saw each other as Jesse Bethel Jaguars. And just, I can't speak for everyone in America, but I can speak to the youth, especially the youth here in our district. And I can safely say that we were able to make connections and have love and respect for each other no matter any of our differences in Jesse Bethel and VCUSD as a whole. And again, because of Jesse Bethel, we're not freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, we're Jags. And I hope we as a country can learn that and implement that to have just basic compassion and kindness with each other. That's really key. And so again, congratulations to all our seniors. I wish you all the best in whatever you choose to do after high school. And I hope they always know that the impact they've had on us will remain at Jesse Bethel and all of us for as long as we live. Thank you.
Mine might not be as good as Brush, but not much to really say about school because I'm glad to be out and I don't want to think about it. So,
Well, for me, was my last year of high school, so I'm now graduated and out. I also got the opportunity to speak at my graduation, which was a very full circle moment, and I had the whole board behind me, so they literally stopped my whole graduation to take a picture after I got my diploma. So I felt special. Also, I've now started for softball at Solano, where I'm majoring in, I don't want to say early, but like childhood education. I want to come back. I want to be here in this district. So I started on the softball team there. I don't know what to say. Also at graduation, we also had a junior graduate early, Kwame Johnson. So that was a good moment for me, seeing that we can have younger kids who do it early and get done and, get their stuff together. One thing in my speech was, we're all at John Finney for a reason, because we were facing hardships, and he came to the school and he got it done and got done a whole year early. So proud of him. On the sadder side of things, I had a friend who graduated with me last week and was involved in a car accident on Sunday out here. So I actually was not gonna come. We went from graduating and being happy and to him getting his car to now fighting for his life in the hospital right now. So, and I think to me, being here, he was one person who was always on my side. And even though he didn't understand what being student trustee meant or being in a professional space like this, he supported me through everything. So right now I'm doing it for him. And I start classes in the fall, and I plan on doing 2 years at Solano and transferring to a 4-year, and then getting my degree, and I'll be here to see all of you guys again. And to our new student trustees coming in, congratulations. I think even if it's me knowing you guys personally or knowing of you, I've seen all of you guys in either leadership or community roles, and I've seen each and every one of you do something with this community, and I can say proudly that we have some good leaders coming in and some good students who will hold our positions and do good like we did in this community and really make a change and really advocate. So I'm proud of all of you for even applying and even doing the interview and then to getting accepted. So congratulations to all of you guys. And I will be here to watch what you guys do, and I will be cheering for you guys.
Thank you.
Want to introduce?
Yes.
So we would like, and to both of you, thank you. It's been my pleasure working with you all year, and it's sad to see you leave, Zanaya, but I will see you next year because you're still with us. So, but we have a job waiting for you. So, exactly. All right, good. So I do want to introduce our 3 new student trustees, and I'm actually put you on the spot because I'm going to have you come up to the mic and the podium and just say a couple words, what you're excited about in this new role. So I want to introduce Sarai Portis from Jesse Bethel High School. Why she looks familiar. I'm wondering if Mom could stand up. Ms. Collins works for our expanded learning program. Very proud mama. So, I will say she did not even drop mom's name in the interview. Just, I want to put this out there. I did not know this connection till after the fact. So, she earned it.
I just want to thank everybody for giving me this opportunity and excited for next year and all the things and goals that we can create together, working together to create our school district as a better one and come to, better terms with everything. And I'm just really excited to be a student trustee. I will definitely be asking Baroche for advice and help through this new school year, but honestly excited and proud of our former student trustees graduating and doing to new steps in their lives as well. So I just thank you for the opportunity and excited for the new year.
Joining us from John Finney High School next year, Samara Williams Adams.
Hello. Sorry, one second. Is the mic on? Okay. Hello, my name is Samara Williams, and I attend currently John Finney High School, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone here for the opportunity to be able to be student trustee for the 26 and 27 school year. I would also like to congratulate Sanaya and B. Roge. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. However, I'm excited to bring new opportunities to the school and also be able to create new connections and opportunities for students that are possibly scared to speak up or just don't have the resources to. So I thank you guys all for the opportunity to be student trustee.
Our third trustee from Vallejo High School, Ibrahim Edais.
Good evening, board. Good evening, past student trustees. Good evening, people of Vallejo. My name is Ibrahim Edais. I'm a soon-to-be 12th grader at Vallejo High School. Go Red Hawks. I'm happy that I was chosen. I'd like to thank the board. I'm ready to represent the students of Vallejo, my school. I really love it, I believe that there are things I could do to better my school, and that's on a student level and a teacher's level, and I'm ready to work with you all. That's it. Thank you.
Board, we're going to take a picture with our new student trustees, so you have to get up again and come around. Taking a picture. Picture.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then squeeze. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
That's your son? Coach as well. You're going to lead us to a championship next year.
All right, we're down to community forums.
We do have one card for this item. Hazel Wilson, please. Good to see you.
Good seeing you guys. Superintendent Aurelio, President Amboy, and members of the board. Thanks to all for your diligence in planning and executing all high school graduations and middle and elementary school promotions safely. We as the community appreciate that. Saturday, all are invited to the Juneteenth parade and the Juneteenth celebration from 11 to 5 at the waterfront Barbara Candelius Park. The teacher store will be giving away free, gently used books for summer reading and enrichment, because rather than sitting on the shelves in the teacher store for the summer, we want them in the hands of students as we replenish for the 26th, 27th school year. The teacher store will be accepting donations for school supplies, and we will be meeting with the union to determine what best days in August for the teachers to come to do their shopping for free. The NAACP Vallejo branch and Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority will also be accepting new and gently used clothing with a focus on our elementary school sizes, because we want to make donations to various, including the Family Resource Center, because we care about all children. The Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority sponsored on June 7th the African American graduation for the class of 2026. We had over 100 participants. We gave out scholarships and other items. Of course, our biggest scholarships were donated by the Sabathia Pigeon Foundation. One graduate, Dave Bernstein III, Vallejo High graduate, who is signed to play baseball at UC Berkeley, is predicted to be the next major league baseball player and Hall of Famer to come from Vallejo High School. And I hope that he will carry on the spirit of Cece and Amber Sabathia, never forgetting where he came from. Thank you.
We're on to consent. We do have one card.
I do. I have a card for consent item AC. Miss Colette Lai.
Good evening, board and community. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Abraham because he actually attended Federal Terrace, so congratulations. The only thing that I wanted to speak about is a few months ago, we said we ended a contract, and I'm still seeing checks written out to this same JF University. So close to $15,000. So obviously something's getting subcontracted out by that same company, so hopefully we could look into that and get that taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. For consent items, may I have a motion to approve items A through 8F? Trustee Fox,
Make a motion to approve our consent items A through AF.
Trustee Hodges.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Fox and a second by Trustee Hodges, roll call, please.
Trustee Fox.
Aye.
Trustee Hodges.
Aye.
Trustee Young.
Aye.
Vice President Flores is absent. President Amboy.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez Jacobo is absent. Trustee Baroche Arbab. And Trustee De Leon is absent. The motion passes 4-0, 1 absent.
Thank you. Moving on to item 9, information. Superintendent Aurelio.
Okay, let me get caught up here. Quick second. Consent items. Perfect. So, item 9A is the presentation and public hearing of the material revision for Griffin Academy High School. So I'm going to call up Assistant Superintendent Topacio, and then President Fox, you will need to open the public hearing.
President Fox.
Amboy, what? I went back in time. Sorry about that, sir.
You know, John is better looking, so it's okay. Okay, now we're here to open the public hearing.
Okay.
Do we have any, no, presentation, please, sorry.
Hi, good evening, President Amboy, trustees, and Superintendent Aurelio. We are presenting tonight the material revisions for Griffin Academy High School, and then secondarily, after this one, will be Mare Island Technology Academy. We'll start with Griffin Academy High School. On May 1st, GTA submitted a written request to materially revise its charter for Griffin Academy High School. As part of the material revision request, GTA is seeking to consolidate the Griffin Academy High School and the Griffin Academy Middle School into one charter school serving grades 6 through 12. The staff from Griffin Academy, or GTA, are here tonight to make a presentation. And we will further have this item in August for final action. Okay.
Now we're open to the public hearing. Do we have any public comments? No, they have to present, I'm sorry.
Good evening, President Amboy, Trustee Young, Trustee Hodges, Trustee Fox, Trustee Flores in absentia, Superintendent, and citizen Vallejo. Thank you for allowing us to present. My name is Nick Driver. I am the superintendent of Griffin Technology Academy and its 4 schools. For the 4 years that I've been superintendent, we have had 4 schools, and we've had to file 4 reports on everything because we have not just 4 schools. Vallejo City Unified has way more schools than we do, but we have more LEAs than you do by a multiple of 4. We have 4 LEAs and you have 1. And we think it is time for us to restructure. It will save oversight work on behalf of VCUSD because every report that we have to do, you have to also view that report and pronounce it good or bad and get back to us. And so it's 4 times the work, or at least 2 times the work that we think we should be doing. So I'm here with my colleagues, Crystal O'Connell and Margie DeGiorgio, our Chief Academic Officer and our Wellness Director, to present to you in this public hearing first, Griffin Academy High School and its request to materially revise to include the middle school into the high school grades. If we could go to the first slide, please. We started Griffin Academy, it's our younger set of schools, in 2018, and later Griffin Academy's High School in 2019. We would like to convert the 2 into one 6 through 12 charter school. It would be named Griffin Academy because it would be 6 through 12. Right now we have an oddity in which when we first applied, we called the middle school MIT Griffin Academy Middle School. And when you start with a name, you cannot change the name. The CDE will not let you unless you merge. So one other side benefit of merging is we will remove the name MIT, Griffin Academy Middle School, completely, and the combined schools would become Griffin Academy, 6 through 12 charter school. We would align both schools under one charter, and that charter term would extend through the current Griffin Academy High School's charter term that you just approved in January, and that would go until the end of June 2031. It would preserve and strengthen an existing pathway. Right now, we technically have to admit students into our high school from our middle school, even though they mostly just walk across the yard. For those of you who haven't been to our campus, we're at the old People's High School, and it is a small and cozy high school that we've improved a lot. It is capacity of 500, so it's quite small. But that would allow us to have one educational pathway if we were granted the approval to combine. It would improve operational consistency as well. So right now, the middle school expires at the end of this coming school year, June 30th, 2027. And as I just said, Griffin Academy High School has already been renewed in January through 2031, the middle of January 2031. This would, by approving it now, align the schools into one coherent 6 through 12 program, and also avoid the additional expenditure of time and resources having to go through a separate renewal process later this year. We believe that your resources should be focused on our existing schools, and we, by the way, thank you for an excellent oversight visit that was led by your charter coordinator, Christy Gardner, as well as many other VCUSD staff. It was very thorough and we thought very fair. We appreciate the work and the collaboration, and we appreciated the report that came out of it. That's what we believe the partnership should include, not just filing more reports with the state of California as well as with you. Next slide, please. So the charter term alignment, as I said previously, and this just shows you in a different way how we would take away a need for an additional set of hearings. If we went through a middle school, Griffin Middle School hearing later this fall, it will be yet another public hearing and another final hearing. And this instead would allow us to have both schools on the same timeline approved and aligned through 2031, and then we would come up for renewal in that one 6 through 12 school at that time. Next slide, please. So the vision and the mission for all of our 4 schools, and you'll hear this again in a little while when we talk about MIT and its bid to combine, that our graduates will have the self-confidence, academic knowledge, problem-solving, and technology skills to experience success in life and contribute locally and globally. And our mission is Griffin Academy, or GTA Academies, prepare students in Vallejo to be ready for college, career, and life through diverse, innovative instructional programs focused on academic achievement and social and emotional well-being. I said to you earlier that this school, our younger program, was first conceptualized and then approved by you in 2018. So much younger than our sister schools, MIT, but the same vision and mission. We'll talk a little bit more about the slightly different educational models in a minute. Next slide, please. So we're, again, just the benefits of aligning now and combining now. We're not asking to create a new school or a new program. There are 2 existing charter schools that have been around for either since 2018 or 2019, and it integrates the strongest practices from each school and creates one cohesive grade 6 through 12 educational model. Next slide, please. So I'm going to turn it over to my Chief Academic Officer, Ms. DeGiorgio, for the next couple of slides. Margie?
Hi, good evening, Superintendent and trustees and student trustees. Congratulations. We love having students involved in stuff. Congratulations on graduating. Sorry, I got distracted because I was so excited hearing about their stories. Back to our program. So as Mr. Driver said, we're not trying to create new programs. We're trying to create cohesiveness and consistency. With a middle school under one LEA and a high school under another LEA, even though teachers can work together, there's still a gap in that continuity of 6 through 12. And we want to bring all that into alignment with curriculum. our AVID implementation. And since we are early college high school, we would like to create uniformity so that what we're doing at the middle school lines up with that expectation that high schoolers will be doing college classes, and to create that foundation and trajectory to create that one clear vision, 6 through 12. It also creates a sense of safety and predictability for students to know this is my program, I'm in this through, and it just creates an overall sense of one community and not two disjointed communities. Go ahead to the next slide, please. So we are both middle school and high school at Griffin are middle performing tracks. So they would be able to benefit from the strengths of both programs and create, again, that one cohesive pathway from 6 through 12. Did you have anything you wanted to add about the renewal, the track?
Yeah, I would just say that we already have middle school students, and I was lucky enough to be based this year at Griffin Academy as interim site director as well as superintendent. And we have not just high school students taking college courses and earning 30, sometimes even 60 college credits and getting their AA degrees, but middle school students. But we don't have a mechanism to allow more of our high-performing middle school students to take those college classes. Now, you may be wondering, why are you having any 8th graders or 7th graders taking college classes? Well, there's some of them, just like your students, who are really motivated and really excited about doing that. We don't have a mechanism to survey them as well as we could if we were under one 6 through 12 roof. And so that's another benefit of having this integrated 6 through 12 school.
Thank you. Okay, next slide. So as you can see, our ELA at the high school is doing very well. The program is outperforming the state, and we would like to capitalize on that and benefit on that, if you can go to the next slide, to help bring the middle school into alignment with the high school so our students can be achieving higher levels sooner. And again, that cohesion would be pivotal in allowing us to be able to do that. Next slide, please. So again, this is just more details about creating stronger alignment and creating a team that works as one program instead of two separate side-by-side programs, which I know you can imagine would allow for stronger collaboration and a clearer pathway to implement interventions and supports, and having that one goal and all the students are working towards the same outcomes with the teachers working in tandem towards those goals. AVID is a program right now. We've got a bunch of teachers up in Sacramento doing AVID training. They participate in very rigorous professional development ongoing throughout the year. We have AVID strategies implemented in all the classes, and we also have AVID electives, AVID field trips, and we would like to be able to expand this to include more of our students in the AVID electives. And again, that uniformity of a 6 through 12 would allow us to expand those opportunities over more students. And I'm going to introduce Crystal O'Connell, our Director of Wellness, so she could talk a little bit about the supports and wellness program.
Good evening. As we've discussed before, we have a thriving wellness program at Griffin, all of which will continue. We have a tier 1 level support that our wellness coach really, and our interns really sort of man. They push into classrooms, have tabling events at lunch, focus on social emotional curriculum that pushes into advisory classes. It went very, very well this last year, and we plan to continue that and build upon that for the upcoming year. Love to push more into the middle school again with this hopeful merge of the LEAs. We also have now a partnership with an outside agency, Stepping Stones. We had started this last time we were here, and now it is thriving. We've had a number of students, I think between the two high school and middle school, probably a combined 30 to 40 students receiving free therapy. That is all utilized through a state program that Stepping Stones comes in and develops here on our campus, which is great. And it avoids us having to try to resource out, refer out, wait for Kaiser, wait for Sutter, wait for whatever county organization can maybe provide a couple of sessions. This is long term. There's no limit on sessions. It's year round in the summer and during holiday breaks. It's all virtual, so there's continuity of care, which is really, really great. So we're doing that. We're providing support with our wellness room. Kids have started to really thrive there. They love going there. If on the rare occasion our wellness coach or one of the staff are not there to man it, they're coming into the office. When's it going to be open? When can we go there? Where can we take a break? We've also been able to push into our restorative practices, which has helped our suspension rates tremendously. We've been really focusing on reflection days and a full scope wraparound restorative framework, partnering with parents, partnering with teachers, giving back to the community, giving back to the teachers whose classroom they misbehaved in, really working on mending relationships, offering that chance for education to learn from what they did, and hopefully not do it again. So that has been very successful. And then, of course, we have our SPED program, which also merges in with wellness. We have an ERMS counselor. Our wellness coach also provides support, pushing into classrooms as needed. So it's become a very vast program with lots of arms and branches out there of all the different supports, and we're excited to allow it to continue. Thank you.
Next slide, please. So just to reiterate, an approval, which as Assistant Superintendent Tapasio mentioned, would not be tonight, it would be in August, would create one charter, one budget, one leadership team, one LCAP and accountability framework. Last night we had our board meeting and the board had to approve 4 LCAPs as well as 4 budgets and a 5th budget for the district budget. So a lot of approvals and a lot of reports and one set of annual reports instead of 2. Also excited when we talk about leadership team, we just hot off the press just hired a new site director, otherwise known as a principal. We were really lucky to get Dr. Chaquita Arnold, who used to be a teacher at MIT until we let her go off and get her doctorate and go be a principal in Oakland Unified for a while. We didn't let her go, but she went off and she's back and starting July 1st, and we're really excited to have her. She's longtime Vallejo resident who's been a community to Oakland, and she's happy to come back and give back to our little Griffin community. The benefits to the district, clearer performance monitoring, one oversight relationship, stronger board accountability, greater transparency, and reduced duplicative reporting. Next, please. So we've mentioned a lot. We mentioned it in January and last November as well when we were up for renewal with Griffin Academy High School. We are an early college high school program. We'd love to extend that down to the middle school grades with one continuum. So this preserves a public school option for Vallejo families, strengthens the student pathway 6 through 12, improves the alignment, as we've said, and supports earlier college and career readiness. And as I mentioned, there are middle schoolers as well as all of our high schoolers who are taking college classes. Improves our efficiency. We have a 6-person leadership team that is partly 6 people and not 5 people because we have so many administrative things to do. We would love to, like you guys would love to as well, spend more time supporting our teachers in the classroom, push more dollars into the classroom. We don't feel like we're able to do that now. We're spending too much money and too much time on other things besides, focused classroom dollars. So we also want to avoid a renewal review later this year and expand our early college access to more students, including middle school students. Next slide, please. So we would request, and we will request again when we come back for the final hearing, August 12th, I believe, for you to approve the material revision, otherwise known as a merger, but technically it's known as a material revision so that our middle school can fold into our already approved Griffin Academy High School with a charter term that would be both of them ending at the end of June 2031. So with that, that's the end of our presentation. We'd be happy to take any questions from you. You may have some, but we've been up here recently with you, and for those of you who were with us last year, the Mare Island Technology Academy was approved a year and a half ago now, and that's what we'll be talking about in a minute.
Trustee Dr. Young?
Question, how are your middle school kids going to be integrated with your high school kids? Because mentally, they're not equipped to deal with high school mentality. So how are you going to address that?
That's a great question. So I have to say that when we first started, the middle school was very easy because it was only a middle school. Then when we added the high school, it got a little more difficult. The high school grew one grade at a time until 3 years ago, we finally had 4 grades in the high school. And at that time, it became more difficult. So what we've learned over the years that it's been in existence, the 2 schools have been in existence, is that we absolutely need separation. So there's physical separation, even though it's a small 500 student capacity high school, middle and high school. We have the middle school on one side of the campus and the high school on the other side of the campus. We have staggered lunches so that the middle schoolers are going to lunch at a different time than the high schoolers. They all use the same multi-purpose room because there's only one. But it's really what we've learned is that having the same lunchtime and we also serve breakfast, the same breakfast time is not conducive to learning. It's conducive to mischief. So we definitely have done that. And that won't change when we integrate the 2 schools. We're not integrating the schools any more physically than we already do. They happen to be on the same campus. So, but we have learned that we do need physical separation as well as bell schedule separation, such as the different lunches.
So you're saying that in the, say for instance, if they're in the AVID program, they're not going to be integrated with high school students, or are the high school students going to be how is that going to work?
Mm-hmm. Great question. So AVID, and I'll ask Mr. Giorgio in a minute to also answer this question, but AVID is taught at the middle school by the middle school teachers, and at the high school, it is taught to all students, all ninth grade students, and then it becomes an elective for 10th through 12th. So it is different teachers teaching AVID, depending on whether they're middle school students or high school students. It's built in. It's not that we do have a couple of AVID teachers at high school, but the middle school teachers are all teaching an AVID class with the AVID curriculum. So that is very different from the AVID at high school.
So that's true. So what about the other academics?
Well,
how they gonna? What about? You look kind of puzzled over there. I'm talking about PE and all that stuff. Do you have that? How's that going to be taken care of?
Well, the students will still be in middle school classes with middle school students and teachers who teach middle school, and the high school will be in classes. But the alignment of the curriculum and rolling out the skills at each grade level to build on one another all the way through would be a higher area of focus. But the students, no, you are 100% correct. Those you got an 11-year-old and then you got an 18-year-old. No, we're not on board with, hey, like go hang out for 40 minutes at lunch together. We totally understand that. It's more about what's going on with the infrastructure and the planning and the teamwork and the continuity and the intentional design of what happens in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, that it feeds into the next grade level. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
But no, they will not be in the same classrooms.
Trustee De Leon?
They're not working. Anyways. Okay. Because I was at Griffin my 6th grade year. And from my understanding, because I know now that I'm here, I kind of know a little more than when I was a little 11-year-old in middle school. But to my understanding, we were still like taking college curriculum in a sense, like classes, and that's what we got told personally, like even my mom. And because I was there that first year that we added freshman year, and then it kept going. So I'm I don't know if I'm lost. Like, so were they two separate schools on the same campus when I was there initially? Because I know you're saying like consolidated.
Were you on the Corcoran campus?
Yeah.
Okay. Corcoran was before my time, but that's
So
also
you're
a
not.
tiny little campus. And at that time, I think it was also.
Nick,
Sorry, at that time, it was also combined, but as you pointed out, it was only 4 grades. 3
Right.
middle school grades and one
Mhm.
high school
And then
grade.
COVID hit.
And then COVID
So-
hit and everything blew up. We also moved, just for those of you, many of us are new, including me, I've only been here for 4 years. We moved, and sounds like you were just escaped the move.
Yeah.
Because there was a little-known easement that VCUSD has still with the USDA or the U.S. Forestry Service that disallowed us from building up on Corcoran. So the whole reason we're a mile and a half away from our other main campus
Yeah.
is because we discovered this and had to move in the middle of a summer, and that's probably when you left. So we're at Peoples, which we're very happy about now, but we've had to put a lot of Measure S
Yeah.
funds into building it out. So if you Corcoran is the campus that we're now
Yeah.
giving back to
Well,
the
I've
school
been to
district.
both because now my sister is at MIT High School and she was at Griffin.
Oh, okay.
At Peoples, and then ended up at MIT. So I've seen all of them. I just wasn't understanding because I know when I was there, from what I knew, it was like all one school. But now it sounds like it's just two separate. They're still in like you're trying to make it an academy, like one whole school. So was
Exactly.
it not?
We're
it wasn't
trying to
that?
do on paper
Oh.
what it looks like in practice. When you go onto the campus, you can't tell that
Yeah.
there's 2 LEAs. It looks like one 6 through 12 school.
Mhm.
So that's what we're advocating for, is to make it actually on paper one 6 through 12 school,
Oh,
as opposed
okay.
to technically, legally, we're 2 separate
Yeah.
schools, but you can't really see that.
Right. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
I have a question. The material revision calls for a consolidation of the 2 schools. So what is the enrollment cap of the consolidated school, and how does it compare to the current enrollment caps of the approved charters?
We're not requesting any changes in the enrollment. We're projecting our enrollment, as we have to do anytime we do something like this, for 5 years. So the enrollment would be the exact same as you approved in January for the high school, and for the middle school, I can't quote you the exact number, but we're not looking to change things and ask for some new crazy high cap. It would be, right now, we're a small school of just over 300 students, 2 small schools of just over 300 students total. As I've mentioned a couple of times, the capacity of that campus is about 500. That's what we're looking to grow to. The original charters, back in 2018, were based upon the MIT's numbers of 140 per grade. So the original numbers that we had in the first charters was much higher. And since then, as we all know, things have changed, and there's not as many students, and we are fortunate to have small growth. We're not predicting large growth. We're hoping to grow into that campus of 500 students and spend our remaining Measure S funds in just both beautifying and adding a few more classrooms to get to that 500.
And another question, does the Griffin High School and the Griffin Middle School families want to see their 6th graders in the same school as the high school students?
That's a great question, and they kind of already do see them because we are on one physical campus, which is actually a small campus. These are, I don't know of any parent who doesn't come and tour a school before his or her child goes to the school. So all of our parents come. We're schools of choice, so they apply, they come tour, and they see that, if they're a middle school family, they're on one side of this campus, and if they're a high school family on the other side, and they also know that there will be crossover, especially at different times, lunchtime and breakfast time, but there is crossover. We don't put a big wall in between. We don't we don't want to put a big wall in between because, you know, everybody needs to have access to the multipurpose room, for instance. Everybody has access to the turf, which is very popular, and the basketball courts, which are very popular. So while we do have a couple of extra basketball courts for one school and the other, our turf, we only have one turf. By the way, we would like to expand and have the city and the school district work to expand Richardson Park, which is our neighbor at Griffin Academy. It would require 4 agencies. It would require us, but most importantly, you guys and the city and GVRD to, you know, make Richardson Park bigger, including part of the VCUSD space, in order to make a full-size soccer field. We think that would be great for the kids of Vallejo, not just our kids, but that's a different topic. We're not asking for that expansion tonight. Tonight.
Trustee Arbob?
Let me just get some clarifications out the way. So with this merging, basically, of the two schools, the integration, could you speak to how if the interactions between the students of the middle school and high school, would they change? And if so, how would they? Like, would they interact in a different way?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's a similar question to another trustee's question. And we don't think that on the ground this is going to change much at all. I'm looking to my colleagues for sort of any instances where it might change.
No.
Go ahead.
Perhaps in a positive way. Like they've mentioned, you can't tell that it's 2 separate schools when you're on site, but just to kind of ease the minds and sort of answer your question, if anything, we have the opportunity culturally to do like a big brother, big sister, support. And we've seen that. Like, for instance, I mentioned the tabling events that Wellness does. A lot of times our high school students, we have a couple that sort of intern in our wellness room, supporting learning. They're interested in that. And they'll go out and help support during a tabling event once a month or every couple of months. And so they're interacting in a positive way with our younger students, and it's actually kind of cool to see. I've toured a lot of families, and when we mention that it is middle school, high school, the ones that I've toured have actually been excited about that for the continuity, the familiarity, and just to be able to kind of grow with the school, and culturally it's been positive.
Yeah, in that case, I think it wouldn't be too different. Of course, it's middle and high, and we actually have another school in the district, Vallejo Charter School, where it's elementary through middle, and that's K through 8, so it's an even bigger gap from the lowest to the highest grade. So I wouldn't say that it being a middle and high school integrated would be too much of an issue. So thank you for answering that question.
Thank you. I was going to mention the same thing. I mean, this is similar to what many of you trustees did with many of your K through 5 schools a few years ago. It was before my time, so I just heard about it, but some of you on the board may remember that there was a move to make some of the K through 5 schools into K through 8s, and we think we're not doing that exactly. We're not asking to add any grades. We're just asking to do a paper, really it's just a paper change, because the actual facts on the ground will not really change.
Trustee Dr. Young?
Actually, it's not a paper change, it's physical change too. You're moving kids into the environment of a 12th grade, 11.
No, they're already on the same campus.
So how are you separating the two? I'm
Well,
still not
It's,
savvy
we-
on that
we'd love-
separation because
We'd
you
love to
have-
have you out there to visit, because we made a lot of changes since it was People's High School, which
I'm not
admittedly was a
even
lot.
relating it to People's High School. So I've been there, I've seen your site, but the still bottom line is that you have those young kids on that campus with high school kids.
Sure,
That is
but we have that right now.
problem. It's still a problem, a concern.
Well, we don't, they're not typically on the yard or at lunch at the same time. In fact, they're not.
Yeah,
So
but you
that's
said
how we,
sometimes they're gonna intermingle. So when's that time? Yeah.
well, we have different departure times. We have the same start time, 8:30. But we have different let-out times or pickup times. So the middle school ends at, is it going to be 3 o'clock next year?
We're still working out the kinks, yeah, there'll be a different departure time.
Yeah, it's a different departure time.
Well,
So
all
there's
the
a,
schools, and I'm not gonna monopolize the time because it is what it is, but anyway, most of the schools that do have a model like that, they have staggered times.
Mhm.
They don't have everybody coming at the same time. The staggered daytime where you don't see, they leave, they come at a certain time, certain group, and then the next group comes and they leave at a certain time. And So, you know, that is a concern that I have. But
I think if you came out and visited, you would see that because it's so few students on the campus, we do not have, we're actually very proud of our discipline platform and the work that we do to keep discipline issues down. And so we have not this school year, and as I said, I've been privileged to be on that campus most of the school year, we've not seen any incidents, no discipline incidents between middle schoolers and high schoolers that led to, you know, any kind of, you know, suspension or anything like that. Yep, well, safety is. You don't have a problem with it, I'm fine. Safety is our top concern, even higher than academics. I know you guys feel the same way about keeping the kids safe. That's our highest charge as educators.
Superintendent Aurelio?
Mr. Driver, just quickly, having lived consolidating schools, closing schools, and knowing timelines around staffing reductions, is this going to impact your staffing for next school year? Right now, I'm assuming you have 2 principals.
Nope.
No, you don't.
No, we've only ever had, as Ms. De Leon can attest, we've only ever had one
Over the
principal
2 schools.
over the 2 schools.
Office staff, any other reductions you'll need to make?
Nope, nope, this is not a staff issue at all. This is
Okay.
going to be the same staff. Thank you for the question.
Now I open to public hearing. If anyone needs. Any, no comments? Yep. So I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you very much. And now on to presentation and public hearing.
So if I can interject, we did the consent item, and I forgot to call up Assistant Sup Chamberlain to introduce our principal that we just approved. So I want to make sure he has the opportunity, since we've been doing that when we've approved management positions. And then we will jump right back into item 9B, which is the next charter item.
Good evening, President Amboy, trustees. I'm here to introduce a familiar face to the district, Dr. Christy Glasgow. Come on up, please. And I told Christy that I will embarrass her a little bit here. Christy is an experienced administrator with expertise in data analysis, instructional leadership, and technology integration to improve student outcomes. Proven ability to coach teachers, implement data-driven instruction, and lead professional development aligned with evidence-based practices. Christy is currently the principal of Highland Elementary School and previously the principal of Mare Island Health and Fitness Academy. She's been a vice principal for the district at Hogan Middle School, and she's been an English teacher at Hogan Middle School as well. She holds a bachelor's degree from Cascade College in Portland, a master's degree from Concordia University in Portland, and earned her doctorate in educational leadership from Concordia. So I would like to introduce, again, Dr. Christy Glasgow, who has a few comments.
I'm at that age where I need the readers. Good evening, President Amboy, trustees Dr. Young, Hodges, and Fox, Superintendent Aurelio. I'm Christy Glasgow, and with deep gratitude, humility, and excitement, I am thrilled to be the incoming principal of Federal Terrace Elementary School. This year marks my 5th year serving in Vallejo. While I did not have the privilege, as many of the ladies who spoke earlier, of growing up in this community has helped shape me and mold me into a better, stronger leader. Over these past 5 years, Vallejo has challenged me, inspired me, and helped me grow. more resilient, and more compassionate. The students, families, educators, and community members I have had the honor to serve alongside have taught me invaluable lessons about perseverance, partnership, and purpose. For that, I am profoundly grateful. As I begin this new chapter at Federal Terrace, I am committed to leading with compassion, dedication, and a clear vision to ensure that every student receives the very best educational experience possible and has the opportunity to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. While I have been a Spartan, a Mustang, and a Dolphin, I have often joked throughout my career about how much I would love to be a dragon. And now that time has finally come. But more importantly, I believe the dragon represents something powerful in our community: courage, strength, and the ability to rise. So it's time for us to roar and soar. Together with our students, families, and staff, along with our community, we will work tirelessly to make Vallejo proud. We will build on Federal Terrace's strengths, embrace opportunities for growth, and strive to be a bright, shining light for every child who walks through our doors. Thank you for your trust and support. I am honored to serve the Federal Terrace community in the Vallejo City Unified School District, and I look forward to the work ahead.
We have one other appointment this evening. I'm not sure if she's here. Kelsey Corrales? I don't think she's here this evening. We will have her at a future board meeting so that she can be introduced. But I did want to just mention that Kelsey is the new principal of Vallejo Adult School. She is a dynamic solutions-driven educational leader with over a decade of experience in special education, elementary education, and adult education, with trauma-informed practice experience serving diverse and historically marginalized communities. She's currently an assistant principal of adult education in West Contra Costa Unified in Richmond. Previously, she's worked for the Seneca family of agencies as a special education teacher, as well as an unconditional education coach. And she earned her Bachelor of Arts from San Francisco State University and Master of Arts from Loyola Marymount University. And so we're excited to bring Kelsey aboard, and again, we'll have her at one of the future meetings. Thank you.
Okay. So item 9B is the presentation and public hearing for the material revisions for Mare Island Technology Academy Middle School. GTA is seeking to consolidate Mare Island Technology Academy Middle School and MIT Academy into one charter serving students in grades 6-12. So we are here to present that as well. Do we need to open the public hearing or after? After. Okay.
Are we open? Thank you.
Open.
Thank you, Ms. Despacio. Again, nice to see you, board members, superintendent, and the rest of the audience. Nick Driver, superintendent of 4 little schools that we hope in August will become 2 little schools or 2 slightly bigger schools. In this public hearing, we are entreating you to consider the consolidation of, as Mr. Pasio said, Mare Island Technology Academy, which was approved for 5 more years last year, so a year and a half ago, and consolidate the 4 high school grades that are right now MIT Academy High School into Mare Island Technology Academy Middle School. That would become, therefore, a 6-12 continuum, just like we discussed with Griffin. Next slide, please. So I'm going to go through these a little more quickly because they are very similar to the previous ones. This is not the creation of a new program, strategic alignment of 2 established schools. In this case, they were established a lot longer ago than Griffin. 1999 is when Maryland Technology Academy was established, so 27 years ago. And a few years after that, as soon as there was a graduating 8th grade class, we started the high school, so that would have been 2002. We have been on the 1 and 2 Positive Place campus since shortly after the high school started, so I think around 2004. So we're, long been a part of that school community in North Vallejo that many of you know is also occupied by one of your schools and also another charter school. So we're just looking for a strategic alignment of 2 established schools. They're both middle performing schools, so what that means is if we were coming up for renewal, there would be a presumption of renewal, and so we're asking to do this a little earlier, but most importantly, give both sides, both VCUSD and GTA, a little bit of a break on paperwork, and that would be happen through having 1 charter instead of 2, 1 budget instead of 2, 1 leadership team instead of 2, and 1 accountability framework. Next slide, please. Right now, as I mentioned, Maryland Technology Academy is approved through 2030. You approved that a year and a half ago. We would, if not for the mechanism of material revision, be coming to you this fall to renew the high school. 2027 is when that charter is up, and instead we're looking to do, as that green line shows, align both of those approvals to 2030. Next slide, please. 25 plus years, it's actually 27, and so we've been there for a long time, as I mentioned earlier. This would really just enable that to happen, and if you could go to the next slide, please. I talked about the middle performing nature. The California Department of Education labels charter schools, but I don't think they do this for district schools, as one of 3 things, either high performing, middle performing, or low performing. High performing get to apply for and usually get 7 years renewal. That's the top 5% of the schools. 90% of the charter schools in the state are middle performing, like our 4 schools, and then there's another 5% of the schools in the state that are low performing, and if you're low performing, there's a presumption of non-renewal. So we are squarely in the middle performing category, and therefore, we always place a lot of weight on academic performance, and the CDE instructs you as authorizers to also place that same weight on academic performance. And we'll talk a little bit more about our performance in a minute. If you could go to the next slide. So I'm going to turn it over to my Chief Academic Officer, Ms. Margie DiGiorgio. Thank you.
Good evening again, Superintendent and trustees, student trustee. If this is feeling a little redundant to our last presentation, we understand. That's our lifetimes 4, having 4 LEAs. Everything is super redundant and time consuming, and I would love to get back some of our time so we can spend more time with students and teachers instead of doing times 4 of every report and every data pull, 4 different SACE logins, 8 different for TOMS, like everything is slower and more complex. When it comes to our education model, much like what I shared about Griffin, is having a continuity of program from grades 6 through 12 for our MIT families, which have existed on the same campus for most of the years of its existence. And there is this need to create that constant flow of team building and planning as 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, so that it all lines up. You can see about our ELA and our performance, and as we shared last year, there's a lot of growth happening at MIT Middle. MIT High is moving mountains as well, and again, we want to create that continuity, lay the foundations in middle school to set them up for the high school programs as well. Our math program at MIT is making leaps and bounds. We are working to align all the curriculum so that there's continuity from 6th grade through 12th grade, again with the same curriculum and teachers working together, and our 6th grade teachers learning from the higher grade teachers about what kind of gaps there are so that the middle school can readjust their programming to help build more solid foundations for more success in high school. Next slide. Our climate the way that our families and students feel, that is improving as we continue to have a feedback loop of constantly asking for feedback from our students directly in conversations, through surveys, with families, gatherings, different kinds of events. And we will share, hey, this family talked about this, or these students came to us about this. We want to create that cohesiveness of the leadership team so that when we're getting feedback from our community, the students we serve, it can go into that continuity of 6 through 12 so that we can all benefit from it and there's not that disjoint. Our absenteeism as well is something that we're working on, and I know that's a problem that a lot of schools face. And so creating, again, an infrastructure that allows for gathering meaningful information from families to provide the support and making sure that we get them on board and know those families well to bring them to school. We know that students learn when they're in our classrooms. Next slide, please. So again, just looking for a coherent pathway. I think we've said a lot about this, so I will go ahead and move on to the next slide. I'm going to go ahead and take it back to you.
Thank you. So one of the additional factors for this particular material revision request is that, as Mr. Giorgio mentioned, we are, after 4 years of renting a third campus because of mistakes that we made 4, 5, 6 years ago around facilities, we are welcoming our middle school students back from the Corcoran campus back to the campus it spent 20 years on with the high school, and that is our Positive Place campus, which also we rent that from VCUSD with a long-term agreement. So we're doing lots of work on the facilities front to allow our middle school students to come back on to where they were. And if, for those of you who've been out to our campus, that's the up the hill part of the campus that the middle school always was on and will go back to again. And the high school will be kind of down the campus. We're on a hill in between what was Loma Vista Elementary School and the old Solano College, which is now occupied by elite schools. So it's a particularly fond and very unique property on a hill, and our students love it. We've made a lot of changes there, and we're making big changes this year. We'd love to have you come and see it once we finished our physical consolidation in July. It will be completed before we start school in August. And also, hopefully, our material revision consolidation, our paper consolidation, that will also happen around the same time. So we think that this is a really neat time to be doing both consolidations that will both make our work more efficient, allow us to focus more of our dollars into the classroom where they belong. So that's why this moment feels like the right time to be asking. I think I've been mentioning it to various board members and also Superintendent Aurelio for a couple of years now, sounding a little bit like a broken record, so very happy to be up here actually formally asking for this permission. Next slide, please. So we, just like Griffin Academy, in fact, AVID is one of the few programs that we have across all 4 schools. I won't go too much more into AVID school-wide. Do you want to talk about MTSS?
Well, our MTSS model, we would like to create an arc that goes from 6 through 12 so that students are tracked and we get to know them, and again, figuring out what puzzle pieces each student needs and not having to restart when they enter high school, but to have it as a continuity of application of strategies and interventions. Again, a lot of this stuff we talked about when we talked about Griffin, but that collaboration that our staffs can do and with our leadership teams to help really strengthen these, because we know that the longer we are with the same students, the better we know the students, the better we know their families, the more we can work together in partnership with their families to help those students through all those different stages of development that happen from grade 6 through 12. Next slide, please. Oh, yeah, oversight. Go ahead. Well, again, we're just looking for that support and the collaboration with you guys to allow us to be more efficient in our work and one charter for MIT would mean one budget, would mean one set of reports, would mean one oversight visit instead of two, one report for you guys. So it's like helping you guys and us, but most importantly, it'll end up helping children because we're going to be able to spend more time focused on them and less on the redundancy of work.
So when we were up here in January, we committed to an addendum to, once the charter was approved by you in January, we committed to by June 30th, which is coming right up, to give you an addendum to that. We completed that a couple months earlier in close cooperation with Ms. Gardner, and we know that there is a lot more consolidation that we could be doing if allowed to do this. So I mentioned in the first public hearing the great work we had from Ms. Gardner and her oversight team. There was a team of actually 5 people that came out to all of our 3 campuses. That was a lot more work than they were expecting, partly because we have 4 LEAs. So we're just looking to align more closely to what you guys have, which is 1 LEA. We're not asking for 1 LEA, we're asking for 2. So that we can focus more on on our reports. We can therefore spend more time on each report, for instance, to make sure that we are being as transparent as we can with regards to both our strengths, but also our weaknesses. We're looking for that constructive criticism from our parents and our students and our staff, but also from you guys, our authorizer. And we think that this is another way for us to get that. So I'm not going to go through all those bullet points, but we believe there are powerful reasons to approve this merger or this material revision, just like the 2 Griffins, the 2 Maritime Technology Academies would be stronger and more cohesive and offer a more transparent flow from 6th through 12th grade than our current 2-school system. Next slide, please. So just asking for your approval. Again, not tonight. Tonight is a public hearing. We'd love to take your questions as we prepare you as well as we can for what's coming up in August at the final hearing.
Okay, I'd like to open up for public hearing. Do we have any cards? Okay, no public comments. Then I call close the public hearing. Is there any questions?
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to C, first reading of the May 2026 board policy updates.
I just want to draw attention to the board. Attached to this item is a packet of all the updated board policies. This is only the first reading, so it's just being presented for information. And any questions or concerns, please bring them forward. This item will return for a final approval. The majority, I would say, in this packet, they are all policy updates related to changes in laws. Okay, we're going to move on to item 9D, seeing no questions. And I've asked Assistant Superintendent Tapasio to introduce. This is also a board policy, but it's a very specific one, and she has some background on it.
Yes, so in item 9D, the board, this is first reading of a revision to policy 6146.1, high school graduation requirements. Back in 2024, the high school graduation requirements were revised, we identified a bit of a problem in the in the requirements for languages other than English. And we identified that there was no date of the graduating class for the requirements in ethnic studies and for the requirements of personal finance. Those items were not specific enough as to when they would be required. And we identified that for languages other than English, there was a specific concern that it might adversely impact students who have an IEP or students who have English learner classes to have a two-course language other than English requirement versus a one-course. Surrounding districts require one course as a measure of equity. It doesn't mean that students cannot take the two, but for some students, that could be a barrier to graduation. So we want to make sure that barrier is removed. Additionally, we also want to make sure that students have had a full 4 years to meet their requirements, so the date changes in the policy identify at which point students will be required to have those requirements met for graduation. And those are the primary changes that we are bringing forward for first reading.
Trustee Dr. Young?
So when is the due date for that requirement to be put into force?
So for students graduating in the 2029-2030 school year, they will require 1 semester of ethnic studies, and for students in 2030-31, 1 semester course of personal finance. The ethnic studies was in the other board policy, but the date was not specified when it would be required. And we wanted to make that revision so that it's very clear when that requirement begins.
So you say, when does it start?
With the first graduating class that has the requirement is the 2029-2030 class. They are already underway to meet that requirement, but we wanted to make sure that it was very clear when the clock starts. Okay?
Just so they have the accessibility to meet that requirement.
That's exactly right. And the way it was written previously, it was a bit unclear, and our counselors pointed out some concerns with it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're staying right there.
I'm staying right here.
We're on item E.
Yes, for item E, as tonight, you're also going to have first reading of a few other presentations, like our LCAP and our local plan. We also have the requirement of bringing forward our local indicators for the California dashboard. So as part of the California dashboard, each year the CDE requires that we also submit implementation documents for our schools. So tonight I have, for your information, the local performance indicators and self-reflection for both VCUSD and Vallejo Charter School. These items will be posted to the CDE dashboard and available for the public after tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to public hearing. Vallejo City Unified School District 2026-2027 proposed budget and statement of reasons for excess of reserves. Superintendent Aurelio?
Yes, so Assistant Superintendent Ruben Fernandez will be presenting the proposed budget and statement of reasons. This is a public hearing, so you'll present, you will then open the public hearing for any comments, and then this is just informational, and it is our first public hearing, and this item will be back for vote next week.
Correct, yeah, thank you. Good evening, President Amboy, Trustee Dr. Young, Trustee Flores, Trustee Hodges, Superintendent Aurelio, staff and community members. Tonight I'm presenting the Vallejo City Unified School District's proposed budget for the 26-27 school year. This budget reflects the difficult realities facing school districts across California, including declining enrollment, increased costs, and expiration of one-time funding sources. It also reflects the actions that this board has taken to preserve the district's fiscal stability and maintain local control. As a summary, as you'll see the LCAP and you'll see the SELPA plan tonight, this year's budget reflects our collective effort to align those resources with the board's priorities while maintaining fiscal solvency in a period of declining enrollment and increasing costs. So tonight, we'll cover the budget development timeline, current fiscal conditions, revenue and expenditure assumptions. We'll talk a little bit on enrollment, ADA, and contributions to restricted programs. Then we'll talk about the general fund, summary of that, what the reserves are, and multi-year projections. And of course, what leads up to the next week, which is budget adoption. Here's a timeline. This is a culmination of several months of analysis and planning. Since January, staff has incorporated information from the governor's budget proposal, third interim projections, and the governor's May revision, and local enrollment and expenditure updates. Again, following tonight's public hearing, we'll bring this back for adoption on the 24th. Before discussing the numbers, it's important to remember what a budget represents. It's more than a financial document. It's a plan for how the district will allocate its resource to support student learning while maintaining our fiscal solvency. Our responsibility, again, is to ensure that not only today's decisions support current students, but we're also thinking about future students as we look down the years. Across California, we've seen districts enter fiscal distress when ongoing expenditures exceed ongoing revenues. This progression typically begins with declining reserves and qualified certifications, followed by county intervention in the most severe cases, state receivership on the right there. But again, the actions taken by this board over the past year have been very focused on ensuring that Vallejo City remains fiscally solvent and retains local control. Again, our current reality, you've seen this slide before. Over the years, enrollment has declined by approximately 22%. At the same time, staffing costs and salary-related expenditures have continued to rise. While our revenues are largely driven by enrollment, many of our expenditures over the years did not decline at the same pace. We talked about the structural deficit. That structural mismatch is the primary reason we've been required to reduce those ongoing costs and align staffing with that projected enrollment. So our revenue assumptions, our proposed budget is built on several key assumptions. First, the state is providing a 4.31% COLA, as announced in the May revision for 26-27. And again, for VCUSD, that represents approximately $6 million in additional funding. However, because enrollment and funded ADA continue to decline, the portion of that increase is offset by lower student counts. As a result, our net LCFF revenue increase is approximately $5 million year over year. This highlights one of our ongoing fiscal challenges. Even when the state does give us funding increases, relief, declining enrollment can reduce that benefit that's realized by the district. Second, we continue to project declining enrollment and declining ADA over that period. Third, several one-time funding sources are projected to end. And finally, state revenues are projected to continue to decrease as one-time resources and adjustments in funding assumptions. So therefore, staff has really taken a conservative approach in approaching our projections this year. You've seen this slide before too. It's that connection between enrollment, our funded ADA, and our projected ADA. So the relationship between enrollment again and attendance is a key factor. As we know, the dollars we bring in are based on attendance, students showing up to school, and our student enrollment really defines expenditures, how we're staffing our classrooms and our support groups. So this chart visually demonstrates one of the most significant changes facing the district. The blue reflects the enrollment, the red reflects our actual average daily attendance, and the gold line reflects our funded ADA. Temporary funding projections have helped soften the fiscal impact in recent years. The long-term trend still remains clear. Enrollment has continued to decline, placing pressure on our primary revenue sources. At the same time, there are encouraging signs within this year's data. Although overall enrollment challenges persist, the district has experienced improvements in student attendance and ADA performance compared to prior years. These gains reflect the focused efforts of our school sites, our teachers, our support staff, our administrative teams who continue to prioritize student engagement, attendance monitoring, and of course family outreach. I want to specifically thank our principals and our site leadership teams and staff for their continued commitment to getting students to school every day. Their work is making a measurable difference and in helping maximize our funding, and of course while supporting success of students. While enrollment trends remain our most significant long-term fiscal challenge, The recent improvements in ADA demonstrate that our collective efforts can really have a positive impact and provide strong foundation as we continue to work to stabilize our enrollment and improve attendance outcomes. For 26-27, total unrestricted general revenues are projected at approximately $155 million. When restricted revenues are included, total general fund revenue are projected at approximately $208 million. Again, LCFF, local control funding formula, becomes still represents approximately 70% of those revenues. Again, this highlights the importance of enrollment in ADA and how that's tied to attendance. The budget reflects several expenditure assumptions. These include our step and column for classified and certificated staff as they rise up that salary group, rising retirement costs, inflationary pressures on services, utilities, benefits, and ongoing special education cost increases. But the budget also incorporates approximately $20 million in staffing reductions and $1.5 million in non-salary reductions previously approved by the board. And these reductions, again, were necessary to address the district's structural deficit. Continuing on, this shows where our unrestricted resources are spent. As most districts, approximately around 80% or around 81% of our unrestricted expenditures are devoted to salaries and benefits. This means that any significant effort, as we know, to address budget deficits ultimately involves staffing decisions. Because personnel costs comprise, again, the vast majority of our budget. This isn't true not only in Vallejo, but in all California school districts. When we combine all expenditures, both restricted and unrestricted, salaries and benefits continue to represent approximately 60% of our total general fund expenditures. The remaining support and materials, contracted services, utilities, transportation, the cost of doing business every day here at our schools. The multi-year projection includes the board-approved expenditure reductions. The current COLA assumptions, as I mentioned, 4.31%. Our ADA assumptions, our existing contractual obligations that we have. These projections do not assume future solutions that haven't been identified, any one-time dollars, but our goal really is to create a realistic picture of the district's financial condition. As with any budget, there are uncertainties. Again, as I mentioned, this doesn't assume any one-time revenues from other funds, future negotiation settlements, or other unknown funding sources. Should this funding become available, our projections may improve. A significant portion of our unrestricted resources is required every year, and you see this slide often through budget presentations, is required to report our restricted programs. In 26-27, our budget projects that approximately $45 million of unrestricted resources will be used to support restricted programs. Of that amount, most of that supports special education every year. And again, this continues to be one of the largest pressures facing the district every year. Turning to the overall budget, total revenues, again, $208 million. Total expenditures are projected at approximately $198. As a result, the district projects an operating surplus for 26-27 with the reductions that are in place. This balance includes both restricted and unrestricted resources and reflects the impact of those reductions as mentioned. Now, many of these reserve components are committed, assigned, or restricted to specific purposes and are not available for general spending. These include our reserve of 3%. That's the minimum that the state requires under state regulation. This, again, is maintained to address unforeseen revenue shortfalls, enrollment fluctuations, emergency expenditures. Of that, we're showing this year, this is different than the last time we presented a budget, the LCAP carryover resources. So funds reserved to support the continuation of our LCAP plan, actions and services not been fully expended. This is consistent with county office guidelines. The district continues, or I should say guidance, the district continues to carry over 10% of annual LCAP funding to ensure continuity of programs. Also here is a special education contingency related to resources to address the ongoing uncertainty associated with special education costs, including non-public school placements, transportation, litigation, staffing shortages and increasing service demands. Maintaining this contingency, again, protects the general fund from unexpected special education cost increases. And finally, assign contingency reserves, helping to respond to economic uncertainty here in the state, operational challenges, and unforeseen emergency educational needs. And finally, any non-spendable balances related to inventories, prepaid expenditures, or things that can't be converted to cash. Collectively, these reserves are fully substantiated in the district's statement of excess reserve and reflect a deliberate strategy to maintain fiscal solvency, manage the risks that we have, and protect our long-term sustainability. So our multi-year projections, it's one of the most important documents that we have to look at today. And it answers really a simple question: can the district meet its financial obligations, not only in this year, but the next several years? And based off of current assumption, the district remains solvent throughout the projection period. However, enrollment decline, uncertainties around school closures, and rising costs continue to create ongoing fiscal pressure that will require monitoring throughout the year and disciplined financial management. So our fiscal outlook, enrollment, as I mentioned, continues to decline in our projections. Costs continue to increase faster than revenues. Board-approved reductions, again, are projected to improve our district's financial position. And really, while these challenges remain, the proposed budget provides a responsible path forward that preserves a local control and supports student programs. The question you might be asking yourself, are we turning the corner financially, right? We've made significant progress, and we've reduced expenditures, and we've worked to stabilize those reserves and maintain that cash flow. And again, as I mentioned, a multi-year projection that shows that we're currently going to remain solvent. We still, again, face real challenges related to enrollment decline, special education. But the budget before you reflects a sustainable financial position that we've seen, more sustainable financial situation than we've seen in recent years. The work is not finished. We have to carry these reductions through the year, maintain our ability to hold on to those reductions throughout the year, our discipline, but we're moving in the right direction and have a stronger foundation in our systems, in our collaboration with HR, and our collaboration with Ed Services to really maintain that long-term stability. So next steps, staff will make any final adjustments if necessary over the next week. The budget will return to the board on June 24th and will be submitted to Solano County Office of Education for review. Lastly, I just wanted to thank the board, district staff, school site administrators, and our fiscal services team led by Dr. Paul Mansing for their work throughout this development process. Happy to answer any questions.
Trustee Fox?
Thank you for your presentation. Can we go back to slide 18, please?
Sure.
The green line, I wanted to know it's hard to read. So can you explain the green line for each, so for 26, 27, 27, 28, and 27, those 29, can you read where we're at, positive, negative, or what
Sure.
are those numbers? Can you go across those, please, for us?
Sure, let me just grab my laptop real quick.
Please go back to 18.
Sure.
Not you.
So the green demonstrates, if you look at the white, the 26, 27, in the white box columns, those three columns there, that's the proposed budget for this year. And then the blue and the salmon color are the two projected out years. So that's how they're collected. The green shows proposed budget projected increase and or net decrease. The left column in the white box there is the unrestricted side, showing a net increase of $11 million this next year coming up, 26-27. And on the restricted side, we're showing deficit spending on the restricted dollars that we receive for a cumulative net effect of $10 million.
Okay.
Yep.
And 27, 28.
Yep, 27, 28, you see
I can see the number. Okay.
8 million, and then you see 6 million on the restricted side, a reduction. And again, in that third year, you see a negative decrease for the restricted side of the house. Typically, we're very conservative about restricted projections in the out years. We budget to approximately 85% of what we receive year over year. So we're very conservative about those restricted dollars. They come with rules, they come with compliance, and there's a lot more volatility with those dollars at times.
So how do we plan, like for the third year out, the salmon one, the negative, how do we plan for that?
Right. And that's going to take a concerted effort with our categorical programs and making sure that we're winding down some of those costs, making sure that we're remaining compliant with those programs. And as we get into the next out years, we will budget with more certainty on those dollars. So it's part of our fiscal stabilization plan for the next 2 years is to how do we address the restricted deficits that we're seeing in those second and third years.
So between attendance and enrollment, those will be key factors, and whatever the state budget is the next few years. All right, and then I wanted to ask you, even with the board-approved reductions of the 22 million and all the other reductions, is the county still on us saying that it's not enough?
I think the mission for this year is to make sure that those reductions hold, right? We've done the reductions, we've gone through the layoff process. It's our discipline coming into this year. That is the measure of success for us, is how are our systems of internal controls, how are we approving positions, and how are we making sure that any decisions that we make, that we bring back to the board, are sustainable long-term as the needs arise, right? So that's really what our deepest partnership with the county on is improving those systems. So
We've made some very tough cuts with closing schools and with reductions. And it just seems like even with all the hard work, it seems like there's still a cloud of that, but there should be more, you need to do more, or that's the part that seems like it never ends.
yeah, and this didn't happen overnight. It was years of controls that weren't in place that could really monitor, what our staffing, how our staffing should match our enrollment. And so that's the biggest discipline, and that's, as a team, that's the work that's most important, that is always on our agendas, is how we're working together to maintain control around our positions. So, yeah.
Thank you, and there's just so many variables with the state budget, and like you even talked about with retirement contributions, and there's just so many things. But thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Trustee Hodges?
Just a quick question. What's the minimum the state requires for us to have in reserve?
3%, correct.
What do we have?
So currently, with our assignments in place, it's 3%. So we have our assignments for contingency, special education, our LCAP carryover, which we have recommendations from the county to continue that 10% carryover. It is sitting at 3% in our MYP currently.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just want to acknowledge, the work Mr. Fernandez, Dr. Fernandez and his team have done, and really the whole team in putting together this budget this year. It's been a tremendous amount of work with all the moving parts, especially with the consolidations, the staffing reductions, the early retirement incentives. All of that gets factored in to this work, and there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope that this is
that we are on the right path, and we're going to come out of it in the end better not only for our students and our families, but better for our employees as well. And it's a process, and we know it's been a process, and a painful process at that. But I would just want to commend the work that the teams have done to get us to this point.
Again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Fernandez. I'd like to open up for public hearing. No public comments? And that concludes the public hearing. Moving on to H, public hearing, local control and accountability plan for Vallejo City Unified School District 2026, 2027. G.
Sorry, G. Vallejo Charter proposed
about
budget.
Okay.
G.
Thank you. Good evening again. Tonight I'm presenting the Vallejo Charter Schools 26-27 proposed budget for consideration for public hearing. The budget is based off a projected ADVA of about 442 students and reflects the governor's main budget revisions, including LCFF funding adjustments, as I mentioned in my earlier presentation. Consistent with prudent fiscal practices, the budget excludes several proposed state funding increases, as I mentioned in the last budget presentation, that have not yet been enacted, ensuring that revenues are not overstated. The proposed budget includes approximately $7.9 million in revenues and $5.9 million in expenditures, resulting in a projected operating surplus for Vallejo Charter School of $2 million. Salaries and benefits continue to be the largest expenditure category, accounting for approximately 2/3 of that budget, while resources remain focused on instructional programs and student services. Based on the assumption presented, the charter school is projected to end 26-27 with an ending fund balance of about $5.5 million and maintain positive fund balances throughout the multi-year projection period. Administration is recommending ultimate approval at the next board meeting due to the proposed budget showing fiscal solvency, preserving those adequate reserves, and positions the charter school to meet its obligations in the current and subsequent 2 years.
Thank you. Open for public comment? Or public hearing? Do we have any public comment? No public comment, thank you. And now we're going to close the public hearing. Now H. Public hearing, local control and accountability plan, LCAP for Vallejo City Unified School District 2026-2027. Dr. Fernandez and Heather Tapacio.
Actually going to be our executive director, Ms. Gossett.
Good evening, President Amboy, Trustee Dr. Young, Trustee Hodges, Trustee Fox, Superintendent, and the Vallejo community. I am Cassie Gossett, Director of Categorical Grants, and I'm here to present the 26-27 Local Control and Accountability Plan, otherwise known as the LCAP, draft for Vallejo City Unified. Just a little background, the Local Control Funding Formula, or LCFF, allocates educational funds based on student needs and allows for flexibility in fund allocation at the local level. It was first included in the 2013 state budget. The legislation requires the development of a 3-year LCAP describing how supplemental and concentration grant funds are to be utilized to meet student needs with a focus on low-income, English learners, and foster youth student groups. Each school district, or local education agency, otherwise known as LEA, in charter school must annually review and revise the LCAP in consultation with educational partners. The LCAP is a 3-year plan that describes the goals, actions, services, and expenditures to support positive student outcomes that address state and local priorities. The current LCAP cycle encompasses 2024 through 2027. The 2026-2027 LCAP is year 3 of a 3-year cycle. In the 26-27 LCAP plan contains the LCFF budget overview for parents and the local control accountability plan. The local control and accountability plan has 3 defined roles that work together to build a comprehensive plan that supports our unduplicated students or students who are low-income English learners and or foster youth. For 26-27, the unduplicated percentage for Vallejo City Unified is projected to be 87.25%. In other words, for every 10 Vallejo City Unified School District students, almost 9 of those 10 would be considered unduplicated. While I'm presenting this plan tonight, the LCAP is actually a compilation of efforts and input collected from a variety of engagement opportunities with educational partners. The plan encompasses actions that involve all aspects of the Vallejo City Unified School District organization. Furthermore, each action has multiple measures of accountability to determine the degree of success in implementation as well as effectiveness. Ultimately, the LCAP is intended to provide readers with an extensive picture of what VCUSD is doing to address the needs of the district's unduplicated students. The plan is comprised of sections or components listed on the screen that demonstrate how funding and actions are working together to address the needs student data as well as educational partners have expressed. On this screen, you will see that VCUSD utilized a variety of opportunities to capture input and feedback from educational partners throughout the 25-26 school year. From that feedback, key trends emerged, including high-quality staffing and protected professional development. Educational partners asked for role-specific professional development that was differentiated. All of the educational partner groups also were very concerned about student well-being, both physically and emotionally. Ensuring that we have targeted academic interventions in place and intentional classroom resources was a priority. Our educational partner groups did acknowledge that they appreciate the current offering of enrichment opportunities, but they would like to see an expansion of enrichment, extracurriculars, and career pathways. The educational partner groups also acknowledged the increase in family events at schools, but they would like to see more opportunities to learn how to better partner around their child's academics. And then finally, equity, inclusion, and resources for students to access and expand their learning. The 26-27 LCAP is intended to communicate what VCUSD plans to accomplish, how VCUSD will measure progress towards goals, and what VCUSD plans to do to accomplish those goals. On the screen, you will see our goals, which are connected to the VCUSD strategic pillars. So our broad goal, vibrant culture of teaching and learning, is aligned to strategic pillar number 3. This goal focuses on enhancing the instructional program across all school sites. So really we're thinking about Tier 1 instruction for all students. And for this goal, we have 18 actions and 17 metrics. Broad goal number 2 is aligned to the VCUSD strategic plan, pillar 2, safe and supportive learning environments. With this goal, the focus is on enhancing school climate and engaging learners across all school sites. In this goal, there are 11 actions with 12 metrics. Broad goal number 3 is aligned to the strategic plan pillar number 1, equitable opportunities, equitable outcomes, where the focus is on ensuring students have what they need to meet outcomes. With this goal, we have 15 actions and 7 metrics. And then finally, broad goal number 4, aligned to strategic plan pillar number 4, is community-centered education, where the focus is on enhancing and increasing parent and community engagement. In this goal, you will find 7 actions and 6 metrics. John Finney actually has 2 focus goals within the LCAP due to its identification as an LCFF equity multiplier school. This identification is based on the percentage of students at John Finney who do not stay at the school for a full year, and that's called the stability rate, as well as the high percentage of socioeconomically disadvantaged students. Additional funding is provided to address the 2 focus goals on the screen. Between these 2 focus goals, there are 5 actions and 7 metrics. Within the supplemental and concentration funding, Vallejo City Unified receives an allocation known as the additional 15% concentration grant. Districts are required to use these funds to increase or retain direct service staff at schools that exceed 55% unduplicated student threshold. For VCUSD, all schools qualify for these funds. This funding is included within the goals that you will see on the next slides. We consider these positions year to year or contingent, as we need to reevaluate annually to ensure funding is supporting the most high leverage direct service actions. On this screen, you will see the breakdown of our supplemental and concentration grant projected budget for 26-27. You will see the funding sources broken down by goal and how much we have budgeted to ensure that we are meeting broad goals 1 through 4, for a total of $49,117,419.85. The next slide shows the breakdown for the equity multiplier funding that will be applied to support actions at John Finney. The total budget allocated is $235,753. The next slides show some of the highlights of the LCAP plan. Continuous improvement structures have been present in each of the cycles, making sure that we have accessible metrics for every action so that we can monitor how we are moving from focusing on just implementing an action to actually measuring the effectiveness of that action. Because next year we will have to report on the effectiveness, and there's a requirement from the state that if we aren't demonstrating measures of implementation and effectiveness, we need to revise that action. You will also see several actions focusing on high-quality staffing. This will be the first year of a new 5-year professional learning plan that continues the work from our current professional learning plan and expands upon it so that we're providing that continuous professional development. VCUSD continues to focus on leadership development at every level, prioritizing coherence across our system. Ongoing coaching and support will be in place for district and site leadership teams. College and career readiness enhancements are also a highlight in this plan. We will continue the work with our middle school, college, and career counselors, knowing that planning for post-secondary needs to start before students get to high school. They need to have some awareness of the graduate profile, as well as all of the opportunities that are available to them. There's also a strong focus on transition to both middle school and high school. You will also see actions related to the expansion of core learning, additional arts, athletics, student high-interest programs, resources for classrooms to support not only collaborative talk, but other instructional priorities, including further implementation of our essential standards. We continue to focus on enhanced MTSS actions, additional resources to support students both academically and social emotionally are present, not just with our supplemental and concentration grant funds, but also through funds called the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant that we have had in place for several years, but we continue to use what are considered one-time dollars. The focus continues to be on mental health, wellness, and trauma-informed care supports. And we are also really working hard on early intervention and prevention supports for students who are just starting school to make sure they have a good start and are ready to learn as they start school and learn all of the important things to come. Additional targeted supports for multilingual learners, including newcomers, our long-term English learners, as well as our dually identified. And those would be students who are designated EL, but also have an IEP. Attendance continues to be a priority, and you'll see that evident in the LCAP plan, continual implementation of our attendance procedures, as well as staff to support students and families who are challenged with getting to school through our child welfare attendance liaisons and our McKinney-Vento liaison. And finally, expanding parent education opportunities and supports, making sure we offer as wide a range of parent education opportunities as possible at our schools and utilize some of our local community-based programs. So with that, that ends my presentation on our 26-27 LCAP plan, and I'll take any questions if you have any.
I think it's 9.
Okay. Oh, did you do that? Sorry.
Oh, okay. The equity multiplier, that just for John Finney?
It is. And so every year the state looks to see, based on prior year, the percentage of students that have been moving in and out of a school, right? So a continuation school, it does make sense that you would see more students moving in and out because they're coming in to finish their, or catch up on their credits, and then they may be returning to their home school. And so that does impact the fact that the students aren't able to start in August and stay all year. And so that's part of the qualifier. And then John Finney also qualifies because of its percentage of socioeconomically disadvantaged. And so really these funds are to help put in additional resources, knowing that students are coming in and out, to make sure they get what they need.
So what does it look like? What does the system look like in order to ensure that?
So for John Finney, they are really prioritizing the continuance of some of the work that they've done where they feel like they're starting to get some good traction. So providing high dosage tutoring within the school day to make sure that students are getting their individual needs met as they kind of accelerate their learning to recover credits, making sure they have plenty of restorative practice support to make sure that any conflicts or concerns or other things that could impact student engagement, that they have staffing available to provide those supports. They're also really focused on the literacy, professional learning across the content area, knowing, students who are coming in the continuation school, sometimes literacy is, I wouldn't say a barrier, but something that needs to be addressed, a challenge, in order for them to recover those credits.
So what is the criteria now to be accepted into John Finney? Changed?
That is a good question that I would have to defer to Assistant Superintendent Tapasio to make sure you get an accurate answer.
So John Finney admits students at every quarter so that they can identify kids who are struggling and need to be admitted, typically starting at age 16 and meeting the requirements of needing substantial credit recovery to graduate. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Not really, because of the fact that alternative education is designated to prevent that at an early time. So you should be tracking your kids at ninth grade, that first year in ninth grade.
Right.
In order to see for credit recovery. You don't wait till they get to 11th and 12th.
But to enter the continuation high school at John Finney, they have to be 16. So they, of course, the comprehensive high school should be tracking students from ninth grade on and providing credit recovery to prevent that. But
at the end of the ninth grade, those kids are 16.
typically, no.
Typically.
I'm not sure that that's always the case, but
they've been there a whole year. They're going into 10th grade. So they qualify for John Finney.
so the age range is 16, and if they are sufficiently credit deficient that they require that intervention, they can go there.
So are we having the high school counselors monitoring that?
Yes, they partner with the John Finney staff and the high school counselors to identify students who need to transition.
That's important because that's our preventive hole right there in order to keep these kids on track. I know it's a volunteer program. You have to volunteer, the kids have to be assigned, it's a volunteer. Parents have to okay them to go there.
Yes.
So, the relationship building with parents in at the high school level is very important in order to keep in touch with those kids that are falling behind at that very vulnerable stage, which is ninth grade, fall, spring semester, is when it tells you if they've been successful and how they're academically performing. So that's just a concern.
And it's a concern of educational partners as well, which is why we put some additional resources into those transition grades, right? So that idea of making sure we're really shoring up ninth grade as well as eighth grade so that students are, A, ready to go when they come into high school, but B, we're really focusing on what happens in that ninth grade year so that we can keep them on track.
And Dr. Young,
Middle school should be 7, 8, 9.
Dr. Young, these two specific goals that we have to include in the district-wide LCAP, we have to name specifically this school site because they get this additional funding just for that. So it's specifically to, and really it impacts those students who are already there, who have already been identified, right? So it only, these two goals specifically, as much as I agree with you that we need to track students in 9th and 10th grade, that's not what these two goals address. These two only address the students who are at Finney already. But that's how the funding works for these two goals. I agree with you that we need to track at a younger age to make sure we're providing the right things, but these two specific goals are just for John Finney, for the students who are already there.
How'd they get there?
That's a different issue. But the LCAP that you're looking at specifically just addresses
Just John Finney.
John Finney, the students who are there, because that's where the funding is coming
we're-
to that school for that
So this is
purpose.
concentrating just on John Finney
Correct.
and the kids that are there.
Correct.
That is what they're tracking. I mean, that's
Well,
what they're
that's
taking
what
care-
this,
that's what this is
the
taking care of.
multiplier funding that they get specifically is for that school at that time for those kids.
That time. Okay, my next question is, what about the others? Does it go on another slide?
Well, that's the generalized LCAP,
Okay.
right? Then we do the actions of the LCAP.
Yeah, I
That's,
just,
yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to do consistency and equity
Right,
here.
but just for these two specific ones, it's strictly John Finney, kids who are
I know
there.
John Finney is the main thing, the main focus.
Right.
But it's a feeder.
Correct. So we have to address that issue in the rest of the LCAP.
Okay, fine, I'll wait.
Any additional questions? Okay, would we like to open for public hearing? Do we have any public comments? That's it. Like to close the public hearing? Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you.
Moving on to public hearing, local control and accountability plan for Vallejo Charter Schools 2026-2027.
Thank you for waiting, Principal
Oh,
Lubin. I
no
know you
problem.
had to wait till the end almost.
Yes. Well, save the best for last.
Absolutely.
Well, good evening, President Amboy, Trustees Young, Hodges, Fox, Superintendent Aurelio, Cabinet, and who's left? Cassie. My name is Jenny Slubin, and I'm the principal of Vallejo Charter, and I'm here to present the 26-27 LCAP plan, which will follow the same format as the districts, as Cassie just so eloquently presented. The LCAP serves three important purposes: engagement, planning, and accountability. It starts by listening to our educational partners and understanding their priorities. Then we use that feedback and student data to guide decisions and investments. Our LCAP it serves three important purposes: engagement, I often think of the LCAP as a story of our school. It tells us where we've been, what we've learned, and where we're headed. This year, that story is about continuing to bring together two school communities and building a stronger, more unified vision for our students. The goals and actions you'll see tonight reflect both our progress and the work that still lies ahead. We've gathered feedback from students, student leadership, families, teachers, staff, charter council, and one-on-one conversations to ensure a variety of voices were heard. This feedback helped validate what we are seeing in our data and inform the priorities included in this plan. From these conversations, here again is what mattered to our community: great teachers and support staff, additional academic help for students, mental health and safety, equity and inclusion for all, family engagement through activities and communication and after-school programs. This helped us to shape our goals, our metrics, and our actions. We're also committed to clearly communicating what we will do and how we will measure success and the steps we will take to get there. Our LCAP goals align with the district's strategic priorities and serve as a roadmap for continuous improvement in all aspects of our school, including teaching and learning, school culture, and community engagement. Broad Goal 1, vibrant culture of teaching and learning. There are 7 actions and 7 metrics. They focus on enhancing the instructional program across all school at our school site. Some examples of Goal 1 are our professional learning, our EL contract, tutors, aides, instructional learning materials, software, our VAPA contracts, STEAM, college readiness, technology, library media tech, and 21st century learning materials. Broad Goal 2, safe and supportive learning environments that focuses on enhancing our school climate and enhancing learners across all the entire school site. Some examples of Goal 2 include restorative practices. We will continue to partner with Elevo, student recognition, wellness, student safety, our project-based learning activities with field trips and our clubs. Our broad Goal 3, equitable opportunities, equitable outcomes, focuses on ensuring students have what they need to meet outcomes. For Goal 3, examples would be MTSS specialists, if that actually does happen, bilingual tutors, we have an incoming vice principal, and outside contractors. For broad Goal 4, community-centered education, some examples for Goal 4 would be family events, family technology software, take-home books, and other family outreach. And there are 2 actions and 6 metrics, and that focuses on enhancing and increasing parent and community engagement. This slide reflects how our resources align with our priorities. The largest investment supports teaching and learning because that is where we have the greatest impact on our student outcomes. We are also investing significantly in student supports, equity initiatives, and family engagement. Overall, the plan allocates more than $2.1 million towards increasing and improving services for our highest need students. Some of our 26-27 LCAP highlights are: we will have a dedicated teacher leader for Vallejo Charter, who we will not share with other sites. We will continue to partner with CORE. We will continue with intense literacy focus for all grades. We will have additional teacher aides for our classes in grades K through 5. We will also continue to have Hey Tutors to work with our students in grades K through 5 as well. Our focus will be on small group instruction. We will continue to have our teachers collaborate as they will continue to have the exception to the contract, and that will allow them to have additional collaboration. And we will have enhanced SEL supports. We will continue to focus on PACs. We will also find a new partner to take the place of Mindful Life, or we will embed that within some of our supports that we already have at school. Additional LCAP highlights are: we will continue to partner with EL Education, although they have merged with a different company, so they're called Cognia. And so we will monitor how the outcome of EL and their new partnership with Cognia, and we will monitor to see how we will proceed for the 27-28 school year in our new charter petition and with our new LCAP. So we'll continue to monitor that. And we are going to continue to be committed to student success. Questions?
Trustee Dr. Young?
Yes.
So what makes your educational program a calling point for parents to come and join you now? It's not expedition.
Well, it still is. So
now?
the way that they've explained it to us is that it's likened like Apple and Dr. Dre Beats. So Beats is still a part of Apple, even though, and it maintains its own brand identity, but so it still has something different. So we will still be, well, EL education will exist within Cognia as its own individual part of Cognia, for now, and we will just monitor to see what is different about that relationship. We will continue to have, whether they morph into something different, project-based learning. So we're committed to keeping project-based learning. But we want to make sure that we take a look at everything that's available for the 27-28 school year in terms of how also can we transform our school to offer something different for our families in Vallejo. And so we want to make sure that we're not missing anything, like maybe STEAM-based education, still project-based learning, but we may want to explore a different partner. We haven't decided that yet, our community hasn't told us that yet, but we want to make sure that we stay open to exploring those partnerships.
So have you done any kind of shopping?
Yes, we have. And so we want to make sure that we are very careful before we make any changes. We want to make sure that we're doing the best for the outcomes of our students and for the students of Vallejo.
Definitely need somebody that has a track record with your client base.
Correct. Yes. And so our families, they're there because they want their students to be engaged in project-based learning, and that's something that we do not want to change. That will not change.
I don't want you to change it neither.
No.
It's working.
Thank you, Mr. Lubin, for your presentation. Now I'd like to open the public hearing. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments?
Now I'd like to close the public hearing. Action 10, Superintendent Aurelio.
Oh, I'm just going to turn it over to Executive Director Kristen Hardy.
Can you open the public hearing for me?
Yes, we can.
Remembered. Good evening, President Amboy, trustees Dr. Young, Fox, Hodges, Superintendent Aurelio, staff, families, and community. Tonight I'm presenting VCUSD's 2026-27 Special Education Local Plan. VCUSD is a single district SELPA. The local plan is both a required public document and the roadmap for how we organize, fund, and monitor services for students from birth to age 22. Tonight has 4 purposes: hold the required public hearing, view parts B, D, and E, receive public input, and connect the local plan to the strategic pillars and LCAP. The hearing notice was posted at VCUSD campuses and on district website, and the plans are available on the Special Education Department website. Tonight provides a high-level statutory overview. We will bring a more in-depth review and discussion to a future board study session. The legal frame begins with IDEA and California Education Codes 56195 and 56205. Each SELPA must adopt an annual services plan and annual budget plan after a public hearing, with notice posted at each participating school site at least 15 days in advance. Every 3 years, each SELPA must also adopt or amend its governance and administration plan. This is VCUSD's year for that action. The services plan shows the required continuum of services. The budget plan shows how special education funds supports that continuum. The governance and administration plan assures access to special education and related services for all individuals with exceptional needs in VCUSD and ensures compliance with state and federal laws. CDE sets the cycle after the December pupil count is verified and before June 30th, 2026. This slide reflects our grounding belief that students with disabilities are general education students first. All LCAP goals, actions, services, and investments apply to special education students with IEPs. The local plan does not replace the LCAP. It describes specialized services and supports above and beyond the LCAP, so students can access instruction, services, and opportunities. The plan organizes the funding, staffing, programs, and compliance systems needed to make those supports individualized, lawful, and effective. VCUSD serves one of the most diverse communities in California. As a single district SELPA, we serve students with disabilities from birth to age 22 in early learning, elementary, secondary, and adult transition programs. Needs include speech and language, dyslexia and other learning disabilities, autism, extensive support needs, emotional and behavioral needs, low incidence disabilities, health and nursing needs, deaf and hard of hearing services, and transition services. The board is the local policy-making body. Governance, budget, staffing, service delivery, and program improvement sit inside one district system, giving us responsibility and opportunity to keep students in district and connected to their schools and community whenever possible. The local plan is aligned to the strategic pillar and LCAP plan. Pillar 1, LCAP Goal 3, Equitable Opportunities, shows up in the local plan through least restrictive setting, inclusive access, disproportionality monitoring, and transparent data. Pillar 2, LCAP Goal 2, Safe and Supportive Learning Environments, shows up through staffing, behavior, health, mental health, and service implementation systems. Pillar 3, LCAP Goal 1, Vibrant Culture of Teaching and Learning, shows up through co-teaching, core curriculum, access, teacher leader coaching, academic IEP goals, and benchmark data. Pillar 4, LCAP Goal 4, Community-Centered Education, shows up through the CAC, parent education, early learning outreach, and community partnerships. Across all pillars, special education adds legal compliance, fiscal solvency, staffing stability, and reliable IEP service delivery. 3 local plan sections are before you tonight. Part B, Governance and Administration, defines the board role, SELPA structure, SELPA director role, CAC voice, dispute resolution, assurances, and compliance monitoring. Part D, the annual budget plan, identifies projected revenues, expenditures, local contributions, supplemental aids and services, low incidence expenditures, regionalized services and operations, program specialist support, and the use of local resources. Part E, the annual services plan, describes the continuum, location, providers, and how students access services through their IEPs. Together, the 3 parts connect governance, resources, and service delivery. Part B turns governance into accountability. In VCUSD's single district SELPA model, the board is the sole policy-making entity for the local plan, budget, policies, and personnel actions. The SELPA director reports to the superintendent and board, and VCUSD operates as its own administrative unit. The plan's purpose is to assure access to special education-related services for all eligible students in VCUSD and ensure compliance with federal and state codes and statutes. It also includes CAC voice, consultation, and general education representation, amendment procedures, dispute resolution, and assurances, including child find, free and appropriate public education, least restrictive environment, qualified personnel, procedural safeguards, assessment, participation, fiscal accountability, and the full continuum of program options. Part D, the annual budget plan, makes the resource plan transparent, connects fiscal planning to program implementation, is incorporated into the district's overall budget, as you heard from Dr. Fernandez, and aligns with the LCAP. Much of this Dr. Fernandez has gone over, but our projected expenditures for the coming year are about $50.5 million. Projected special education revenue is approximately just shy of $16 million, and the local contribution at about $34.5 million, or 68% of the total funding. Object code 5,000 services and operations are our largest expenditure category at about 62%. The plan also reports required categories: funds received, administrative costs, services for students with severe, low incidence, and non-severe disabilities, supplemental aids and services in regular classrooms, low incidence expenditures, regionalized services and operations, program specialist support, and local resources. Special education and business built the projection using a conservative revenue increase, as you heard from Dr. Fernandez. This is a difficult point in the fiscal cycle because of the current year is closing. Not all of our expenditures are reconciled, and the governor's budget is not finalized. VCUSD still relies heavily on contractors to meet statutory requirements, labor agreement caseloads, and IEP services. This year, we worked with human resources and labor partners to increase direct hires and reduce contractor reliance over time. The base program staffing model strengthens position control. Related master contracts will be coming to the board on June 24th. A state budget update is important to this context, particularly as it relates to special education this year. On June 11th, 2026, the legislative leaders announced agreement on the 26-27 state budget framework. I know Dr. Fernandez is looking at a very conservative picture around the fiscal impact, but I think thinking about, and we're not projecting on those funds yet, but thinking about what could be for us is a valuable lens as we look at the way that we use the local plan. So this is significant but not final because those negotiations with the governor and the trailer bill language is still pending. The legislative version includes, however, historic investments in special education, recognizing the significant increase in the number and severity of students with disabilities and the associated costs of providing them high quality, equitable education, as again Dr. Fernandez stated earlier. If appropriated, VCUSD will use additional funds to reduce the local contribution, but also invest in high leverage supports, including PK kindergarten structures. We are also using our Medi-Cal funds, which are locally generated, and low incidence categorical funds to supplement services and materials above the base program. That brings us to Part E, which is the annual services plan, which shows that children with disabilities have access to services and instructions appropriate to their IEPs. Services include specialized academic instruction, speech and language, deaf, hard of hearing, visually impaired, adaptive physical education, health and nursing, assistive technology, occupational and physical therapy, counseling, psychological services, behavior transition, low incidence supports. VCUSD serves them more than 97% of our students in district programs and continues to be a regional provider for deaf, hard of hearing programs from preschool through 5th grade for both Solano County and Contra Costa counties. If a student needs a service not currently active, the plan explains how the SELPA accesses it through the IEP process. Looking ahead, we are initiating an innovative partnership with Rising Star, the non-public school housed in the former Franklin Middle School campus. Through this partnership, Rising Star will bring a satellite program to Cooper Elementary School for our youngest learners with significant autism and communication needs. These 2 classrooms will provide focused intervention and serve as model classrooms for VCUSD staff observation, professional development, and strengthen quality programming for this growing segment of our district. This slide highlights the current state of the department and the progress made during the 25-26 year. These gains connect directly to the strategic plan pillars and the LCAP. Compliance. Overdue IEPs decreased from 1,900 in 24-25 to 143 on Census Day 2025. Improving timeline compliance by more than 93%. Significant disproportionality. After 13 years, VCUSD is on track to exit at the end of the 25-26 funding cycle with 0 areas of disproportionality in the most recent monitoring cycle. This reflects stronger data review, placement decisions, and truly cross-departmental accountability. Graduation outcomes increased dramatically. Our 12th grade graduation rate for students with disabilities is on track to increase from 67.5% on the California School Dashboard to 93%. This reflects the work of high school teams, counselors, case managers, general ed teachers, special ed teachers, paraeducators, site administrators, families, and students, and the full implementation of the alternative pathway to the diploma for students with extensive support needs. Inclusion. At VHS, co-taught math and English pass rates for students with disabilities mirrored general education at greater than 90%, contributing to graduation gains and student sense of pride, efficacy, and academic identity. Statewide testing participation increased to above 95% this year, an important indicator to access and accountability. Additional gains this year included the Cooper Speech Response to Intervention pilot, expanded CAC and parent education, stronger one-to-one paraeducator and placement review, and more stable base program staffing. The 50th Annual Special Olympics reflects the true community and heart of VCUSD. This year's celebration included more than 200 students, approximately 100 student volunteers, every VCUSD department, community partners, families, and months of cross-department planning. It also coincided with the 50th anniversary of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The event was more than a single day of activities. It was a visible example of what inclusion looked like when students, staff, families, and community partners work together. Students were celebrated as athletes, peers served as leaders and volunteers, departments collaborated around a shared purpose, and families saw their children recognized with joy and dignity. This is the same spirit we want reflected in the local plan: rigorous programs, compliant services, inclusive access, and a district culture where students with disabilities are seen, supported, and celebrated. The 2 more slides, promise. Like, get off. The 2026-27 initiatives move the local plan from compliance documentation to implementation. Day 1 staffing controls, master position control registry, base program staffing, finalized job descriptions, salary schedules, and direct hire pathways where possible. Service implementation, IEP scheduling and compliance technicians, buyback days for professional development, weekly service and compliance dashboards, and continued monitoring of IEP timelines and services. Inclusive instruction, we will scale speech and language response to instruction, protect and expand ELA and math co-teaching, add quarterly co-teaching retreat and planning days, strengthen benchmark to IEP goal practice, and use teacher leaders for core and alternative curriculum. Family and early learning, 2-day IEP boot camp, 5-session positive parenthood series on school readiness, communication, co-regulation, toileting, sleep and device reduction, plus stronger CAC governance and parent education. We continue planning for the opening of the Loma Vista Early Learning Center in fall 2026 as an integrated early learning site where young children can receive general and special education instruction and services, infants and families can be served, and the community can access assessment and supports. The operational target is a 25% increase in in-service, in-person speech and teaching services, not simply hiring. The student-facing goal is more consistent, high-quality, in-person services while reducing contractor reliance over time. The requested board action is to hold the public hearing, receive comments, approve or adopt the governance and administration plan, annual services plan, and annual budget plan as presented or revised, and authorize CDE submission. Thank you, and I will take any questions.
Trustee Fox.
Mine's not a question. I was going to make approval of the plan, make a motion to approve the plan.
Do I have a second? Oh, you have a question? Okay. Trustee Dr. Young.
Can we go back to slide 11?
Yes. Which one was 11? Okay, there we go. Okay.
Now, that's impressive.
It's been a lot of work from a lot of
Thank you
people
for being a
across the
part of our
organization.
family. I've never seen anything in 40 years that I was here, anyway, anything like this. 92% of seniors track to graduate. IEPs, I didn't even know we had 19,
We
1900.
didn't have 1,900 IEPs. We just had 1,900 errors.
142. That's impressive. That's so impressive. And then you said at the disproportional exit, ending 13 years, I think it's more like 20. Okay? But that is fantastic. You pat
That-
yourself on the back.
Thank you.
Pat yourself on the
And
back.
that is the work of this
Pat
entire
yourself on the back.
organization.
I know you had a team, but
Thank you.
leadership comes from guidance and vision and listening and all that in order to make that happen. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
That is fantastic.
Thank you.
I know, Fox, you made a motion, but before you motion, we need to close the public hearing and then vote. So, just make sure no one wants to comment.
No comments? Okay. I'd like to close this.
Now we can take the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve action 10, action item A.
Thank you, trustee Fox and trustee Hodges.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Fox.
Aye.
Trustee Hodges.
Aye.
Trustee Young. Vice,
Aye.
Vice President Flores is absent, and President Amboy.
Aye.
And the motion passes 4 with 1 absent.
Thank you. Moving on to reports.
I will start with my superintendent's report, and I know it's getting late, so we've covered a lot this evening. I want to start by acknowledging and really express my gratitude to the many employees and community partners who helped make our graduation season a success. Graduations for Vallejo High School, Jesse Bethel High School, and John Finney High School were meaningful celebrations of student achievement and could not have happened without the extraordinary efforts of our site safety supervisors, our technology support personnel, operations management team, communications staff, and of course, members of the VASE, Vallejo Association of Confidential Employees, and everyone else who contributed to the success of our graduations. I also want to acknowledge and thank the Vallejo Police Department for its partnership and support during our graduation ceremonies. Additionally, I want to acknowledge Mayor Source and members of the City Council and other community leaders who joined us in celebrating our graduates. I know they're gone already, but I also want to recognize our outgoing student trustees, Barosh Arbab, Zanaya De Leon, and Sonia Valdez Jacobo. They did a tremendous job this year of representing their schools and our district, not just within Vallejo, but outside of Vallejo. At the same time, I'm also really excited to welcome our new student trustees for the 26-27 school year. They have some big shoes to fill with our exiting trustees, but I'm sure they're going to do a tremendous job representing the student body. Let me move on. So I just want to announce, as we turn to summer school is now underway throughout Vallejo City Unified School District. We are serving our students academic interventions, credit recovery, expanded learning programming, and extended school year through special education. We provide, especially through expanded learning, we're providing summer programming and care for our families who really need it the most. It's something we do, and provide some fantastic programming at some of the school sites. We also provide some free summer meal opportunities, and if anyone's interested in learning where those locations are, that information can be found on our district website. Lastly, one of the most encouraging outcomes of the 25-26 school year was our improvement in student attendance. While the district budget was developed using very conservative average daily attendance, we are really enthusiastically awaiting the final outcome of our ADA for this year because we did see improvements. I know that at the P1 and P2, we were hovering between 93 and 94% attendance, which is a big difference than 89%. And, that achievement is significant both educationally and financially. We've had campaigns around every, attendance matters, show up. Well, every day a student is present in school increases their opportunity to engage in learning, build meaningful relationships, and access the supports necessary for success. So improved attendance also strengthens the district's ability to provide high-quality programs and services, because we know that is how we are funded, based on the attendance when students come to school. So as we increase our attendance, we have the ability then to maintain and or add additional services. Lastly, as we conclude the 25-26 school year, I want to thank the Board of Education for its partnership, support, and leadership throughout what has been one of the most challenging years in recent district history. Together, we navigated difficult decisions related to school closures, budget reductions, long-term fiscal stability. These decisions were not easy, nor were they popular, but they were necessary to ensure the long-term health of the organization and our ability to serve students in the years ahead. Throughout this work, the board remained committed to transparency, community engagement, and keeping students at the center of every decision. While there were moments of disagreement and uncertainty, our shared commitment to the strategic plan and its 4 pillars provided a consistent framework for decision-making. Leading through change is among the most difficult responsibilities entrusted to educational leaders. Yet I believe we demonstrated that difficult decisions can be made with dignity, compassion, and a focus on what is best for students. As we prepare to adopt the 26-27 budget and LCAP next week, I remain optimistic about the future of Vallejo City Unified School District. We have important work ahead, but we also have talented employees, engaged families, committed students, and a governing board dedicated to continuous improvement. I look forward to continuing this work as we enter the next phase of implementing our strategic plan and strengthening our outcomes for all students. Students at the center, always. That's my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Aurelio. Trustee Fox?
The first item, I think, was the last 2x2, right? You and I were there, Dean? So the report back from that was, we met the new interim city manager, and I requested an update on quite a few items for the progress of where Rollingwood is at, how soon, hopefully this summer before school starts in August, that we can have the gate installed on Nebraska Street for closing the street while school is in session. Also the deed for this property. I think those were the questions I asked for update to be presented. I know that 1 month, I think they're out in August. So I think, anyways, I'm not sure the timing to get those answers, but hopefully we can get this the gate installed. I'm hoping before school starts to be proactive. It's supposed to be installed last January, December, but anyways, things have been slipping through, it seems like. But that was the 2x2, if I remember. And then also graduation, my favorite time of the year, most exciting to see our students walk across and shake their hand and look in their eye. The excitement for their next journey in life, and to congratulate them on this journey. Thank you for everyone who was there, especially thank you to the site safety. I'm really proud that our mayor is supporting our school district and was there each time. We also had Cassandra James, our county supervisor, and we also had Vice Mayor J.R. Matulik. I'm trying to remember who else. Anyways, it was so hot we were melting, but we got through it. The hottest days this year. We all did it though. We watched after each other. Thank you, Ruben, too, for the umbrellas, and everyone for the support and the just trying to get through everything. I think that's it. Thank you. Oh, have a great summer.
Trustee Hodges?
Apologies, most everybody know I've been under the weather, so I have no report tonight.
Thank you, Trustee Hodges. Trustee Dr. Young?
Oh, well, I had a busy, but exciting adventure I call it an adventure because each time I connected with the ceremony. I was just overjoyed. John, and my venture started June 5th when I attended John Finney Leadership Academy's Stole ceremony. That was so impressive to see those kids have so much pride in what they were doing and what they had accomplished. And then I moved on to Sunday. I attended the 2026 Afro-American Graduation Recognition Program, which was put on by Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Kappa Beta Omega chapter, in which I am a proud member of, which we give back to the community. That's part of our service. That program was outstanding. It was at Friendship Baptist Church, Sunday at 4 o'clock. And our guest speaker, our keynote speaker for that evening was Miss Cassandra James, Supervisor, Solano County District 1. And she gave a dynamite speech. It had those children moved. And when I see children move by tears and recognition of what she was telling them and what she had experienced, I was moved. So that was a wonderful experience that day. The next journey came when we started this trip on, we started the trip on the John Finney graduation. That was at 9:15 a.m. in the morning. Now, you know I was there with my garbs and everybody else was there. And then we went to Vallejo High School graduation. Was that the hottest day of the year?
Yes, it was.
That was a hot day, but we persevered, okay? We persevered. And then the next day we went to, what was it? We went to Bethel. Bethel's graduation. Now, that was an experience. Now, you talking about Jaguar spirit. Those parents have Jaguar spirit. They came out in full force for their students. And I was so proud of that because I was part of that school opening. To see it prosper like that and continue that Jaguar spirit just made me feel good inside. And then later that day, it was a little cooler that day, but later on that evening, we all ventured across the street and supported the adult school. It was very, that was moving to me because you know what the struggle is when you get to the adult school. Sometimes, you know, you don't know what was put in front of them in order for them to get there, but they got there. That's the most important thing, they got there. And I was so proud to be there in order to see them walk through that with their robes and their cap and gown. Proud of the community. They came out, they showed out, and they stood up for their children. And that's what we are asking as a board here. Support us. Support us, support the children, support the community, and have our backs when we have to make those crucial decisions that will make this district sovereign. It was a wonderful, wonderful week. And I'll, you know, go drop the mic and exit stage left. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Young. The last 30 days have been a blur, to be honest. I did attend I don't even remember my dates. I did attend the Special Olympics at Corpus Field. That was such a tremendous event, even though I was sick that day. No, it was wonderful to watch, to see all the kids excited, crossing that finish line, receiving their medals. The joy you saw in everyone's faces, from the participants to the volunteers to all of the staff, everyone contributing. it was just an amazing day. Fast forward to graduation last week. John Finney of Vallejo High, Jesse Bethel, their graduations were just so amazing. And, I'm very proud to see all the students graduate, especially my daughter crossing the stage. Had to throw that in there. It was an amazing event, and I'm so proud and very thankful for everyone's participation and everyone putting the extra effort, because it's one thing I do look forward to every year as well. That's my report. And Dr. Young?
Oh, let's not forget that we were present at Jesse Bethel's award ceremony. Weren't you sitting next to me? Your son got an award.
Everything's a blur. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I'm sorry, I just don't remember.
I remember you sitting next to him. But anyway, maybe it's me.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, we attended that, the award ceremony. It just
Yes.
really.
This
And
is
his
what happens
son-
when we
his
have board
son-
meetings once a month. There's a lot that happens
I
between
know,
them.
I know. But that was his son.
So I'm going to announce upcoming meetings just to move us along here. We have our next and last board meeting of sort of this cycle, which is Wednesday next week, June 24th. We will be adopting a lot of our budget, our LCAP, all those items. And then we have a break in July, a well-deserved break for the board, and we will be back here at the start of the year, school year, with our regular meeting on August 12th. And then it followed with a special governing board session, a study session on the 26th of August. Those are our next meetings.
Great. With all that in mind, we are down to the end. Thank you very much for tonight, and I'd like to end today's meeting at. Oh, any future board agenda items? Do we have anything? I don't think so. Okay.